baby. Yeah, what's up with it?
That's a great Maywall, though.
Yeah, blocks out the Deadeye. They're going to break a little bit through. Oh no, Myra slept. Still holding on to that Graviton Surge and Earth Shatter out.
Shiny Hero going down early is not a good start.
Oh yeah, this is backfiring instantly.
Taking out Temple. Oh, that's a big Diva Bomb.
Oh, great Graviton, and here comes Immortality! And of that Orisa, they're able to start moving the way forward.
Reflect, Amy took Grizz out of the fight.
To take down Ghostly.
Taken down by good EMP there from the side.
Side of things, but he said no, and would no!
Blade does come through, cleans up Merrick, cleans up Don.
Kicks there as big ones, and Ghostly gets two. Remnant on all, that is a beautiful Zarya.
Doing a great job here.
Deadeye as well to cover up a different angle.
Oh, Sidon gets three! No, this is not happening! So 100% he's close. Ghostly will get two. Like they're gonna use losing.
I don't believe and 1 HP are your Ascent champions.
Listeners, one and all, and welcome to the MyRepublic Rocket Cup, brought to you by Amateur Oceanic Esports. I'm Peronius. Joining me this evening is, as usual, is Temporal, and we're here to bring you a couple of hours of exciting Overwatch action here tonight.
Oh, a couple of hours. It's going to be a long, long night. All the Overwatch you can handle. It's kind of the reason why we run this tournament once every 2 months, because we don't want to overdo it and have everyone overdosed and laying insensate for the next week. But the Rocket Cup is upon us once again. It's an open Overwatch tournament for players of all skill levels. Players sign up either individually or in up to groups of 3, meaning there is no full teams competing as one in the tournament. We may see a few teams that have all signed up, but they end up spread out differently. And the reason we do that is because we want first of all, we want fairly balanced matches, as balanced as can possibly be, but we also want people to have fun. That is the name of the game here in the Rocket Cup. Meet some new people, make some new friends, and hopefully along the way you pick up that $120 prize provided by MyRepublic.
That's right. Stay home with the #1 broadband provider for gaming. MyRepublic offers fixed broadband plans and services that provide ultra-stable, low-latency connections, optimizing your gameplay experience. As a MyRepublic member, you can enjoy exciting privileges, special gaming offers, and exclusive access to specialized gamer perks. Check out MyRepublic today at myrepublic.net.
If this is your first Rocket Cup, I'm happy to remind you of the format we take. The Rocket Cup tonight has 16 teams, which is split into 4 groups of 4 teams. These groups will play a round robin of 3 matches each. Following on from that, we'll take the top team from each group. That'll be the 4 remaining teams, who will then progress to a single elimination finals bracket. The teams will play in a pair of semi-finals, followed by a grand final, and the winner of that last match will be declared the Rocket Cup champions.
Absolutely. And as for the matches themselves, they will be a best of 3 format. So first to 2 wins, and we'll be going through maps in order. So it'll be a control map, then escort, then assault. And if we need to go there again, we will go to control at the end as a final decider. We have a different set of maps for each round of the tournament. That's the word. And that's all been pre-selected as well. So the teams won't be picking their own maps. They will be going to maps as determined by tournament rules.
I'll be interested to see if a pair of teams are able to throw a wrench in the works, try and draw an escort map, make us go to a map 6. And, well, we'll have to bring the admins in on that one. But you know what? It doesn't generally happen. Escort finishes up. Let's not get there just yet. Control will be the first map type that we come out with, and the first two teams are the first 2 teams listed for the day. Pyronius Team 1 versus Team 2, and as we highlighted at the start, they're not pre-existing teams. They're made up of smaller groups of people who are joined together, but there is some familiarity when it comes to the names on the teams. Team 2 in particular, I'm looking at Myrash and Goose are names that regular Rocket Cup fans will recognize, a part of the winning team 2 actually from last time, winning team 2. So they're back on the same number team, back to win. And Myrash is actually going for the triple, 1 on team 3 in the second Rocket Cup.
Yeah, so we've definitely got some players we've seen here before. We can expect some great performances out of them. But as you can imagine, with the lack of pre-existing teams, it means that, well, there's no favorites coming in here. There's no dark horses. Everyone is a dark horse until proven otherwise. And we'll see as things unfold who appears to have the right stuff, who the strong teams end up being. And from there, we'll be heading through to those single elimination finals. It's not a lot of room for error for these teams, but at the same time, well, because they're not pre-made teams, they haven't had all the time in the world to prep. So they're probably not going to see any particularly unexpected strategies. But, I mean, we've been a bit surprised before at these things as well.
We have sometimes a player sticks on a hero you think, they're not quite meta at the moment. But then in a tournament like this, especially early on, sometimes it does favor your team if you stick with what you're good at. As long as the heroes have a little bit of synergy, having a Farah God on your team can work against a pair of hitscans who aren't able to coordinate properly and take care of you. So we'll see if that happens. I know in the first match, I'll be looking for Goose's Farah. I've seen it both in the Rocket Cup before and in Ascent, doing magical work. So plenty to look forward to, at least from that player, assuming they go on the Farah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what actually comes out. We're just awaiting the players to make their way into the lobby at the moment. And so Myrash is actually Team 2 and not Team 1, you were saying, Temporal? Is that correct?
I'm looking at the sheet. It looks like the labels in the lobby might be the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's the labels. That's all right. Look, at the end of the day, the teams that team name is just something allocated. We have, you know what? I'm going to keep bringing up stats because it's just what I do. I like reading and researching. In the last 2 tournaments, the teams that have won have named themselves. We had Team Pap Pap in Rocket Cup 2, and then there was the Vitaki fan club, the Vitaki's Pals. I forget the exact name of the team that won last time. but maybe it might helps you stand out. You're not just one of the teams, you're this team. That may be what gets you over the edge. If you've got the kind of camaraderie already built into your team, you think, you know what, we're going to give ourselves an identity and take it forward.
Yeah, I mean, it does give you something to rally around, and it gives you a better idea, a better it really helps you conceptualize the team. Like a name like Team 1 or Team 2, that's just a placeholder name, and you know it. Everyone knows it. It's hard to really rally around that. Whereas when you actually take on a name yourself, that becomes an identity. I say that the last team that I coached, literally named themselves after their allocated team name. So I don't know, they did all right actually, but yeah, I mean they were originally started through another AOE tournament way back in the day, and they were originally free agent Team 11, and they took that on in their name to become Fat 11. So you know, your mileage may vary. They ended up just like, I mean, the naming process for that was an exhaustive naming process. A lot of ideas were suggested that nobody liked, and in the end, that was really the only thing everyone could agree on. But it worked for them, and it became their identity, and they did reasonably well, I think.
I think a team may be able to set themselves up for success. They just go with a simple name like Rocket Cup Champions.
There you go.
I don't think I saw anything in the rules against team names being suggestive in that way. Of course, you can't have something that'll violate Twitch or Blizzard terms of service, but Rocket Cup Champions, that's a winner. And you could have Rocket Cup Champions facing off against Rocket Cup winners, just to make things a little interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta get the mind games in early. Just anything you can do to get that edge over your opponents there. Hopefully it's not mind games, it's what's happening at the moment. We're still waiting on one last player to make it into the lobby, and we'll be able to get this match started. And I suppose we can go over the maps for what we're expecting to see in this first round. So we'll be starting on Control, and then we'll be heading to Route 66 for our escort site. So starting on Control with Oasis, I should actually say the map name there, that would help. And then we'll be heading to Escort next, which will be Route 66. And if we get to Assault, it'll be Volskaya. And our tiebreaker will be Ilios as well. So Oasis for an opening map is a bit of an interesting one, especially if we're expecting to see some Pharah in this one. So if we're expecting to see Goose on the Pharah, it is a great map for it.
It is, and we should probably touch on the meta at the moment. You'll definitely often see the meta feeds down from pro play, but given the relatively recent change to lots of heroes introduced by the patches, both that have been in experimental and currently coming in on experimental, it's a little up in the air, particularly when Overwatch League hasn't had the chance to play the new patch without hero pool. So we've seen some indications of some professional analysis on what may be the meta, but teams have been largely left up to themselves on ranked at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, and in this sort of tournament, you're probably not looking to replicate the pros either. You're probably looking to go for those comfort picks. You touched on that earlier on. So we're probably going to see people coming in on what they feel is strongest and just try and build something around that as well. Certainly most tank players out there can probably play pretty much any tank in the game. So a lot of the time you'll just be building around whatever DPS your DPS players are most effective on and building the rest of the roster from there. And so we will be heading into University for our first stage here of Oasis, and perhaps a little surprisingly, because it's not normally the pick here on University, we're actually seeing Goose on that Pharah.
Well, if you know it's unbeatable, you've already won a championship off the back of it once, why not? And I was reviewing this last Rocket Cup. I'm pretty sure it finished here on Oasis. I'm not quite sure which map it was. I'm pretty sure that team, the one that took it out here. So, you know what? They know it well. It's a nice way to get back into the groove if you've been here before. And let's introduce the teams really quickly. Team 1 is State 2 Good, Nasic Fan, Scope, Excel, Invalid, and Edith. Team 2 will be Myrash, CLK, Bounce, Goose, McGiff, and Brock.
Absolutely. Both of these teams rolling out here. Nasic Fan on the Doomfist is going to make for some interesting play here. Can definitely work there, and there's not a lot to stop it between Pharah and Hanzo. Pretty hard to stop a Doomfist with projectile heroes. We'll see if that works out. We have a bit of a scuff here.
Well, you see Nasik already making their way in, taking care of CLK, putting them on notice. That's given Team 1 control of the point for the first capture.
The early res does get committed to bring CLK back, and CLK picking up stake 2 good off the back of that. It's going to be a good opportunity to surge forwards here.
But Nasik not giving that Hanzo any rest, goes in deep, takes him down again. No resurrection available, but they're trading out players. Edith getting one back, beaten down bounce. However, will not be enough. Goose finally making an impact, sweeping over the point. It's Team 2 initiate their first capture progress.
Yeah, and they're running an interesting lineup here with the Hog Zarya. We've been seeing a bit of that in ranked, but it's a very brawly comp here, and it may have sort of some long-term weaknesses when it comes to sort of sustained fire. They really can't. They don't have any tools to deal with sustained fire. The team needs to take cover, play back at the distance, and we see the Winston initiating here, looking to close that very distance.
Still has to drop in the pit, getting a large health pack, but the leap ensuring they're right back out where they started. McGiff down, as is Brock. This is a great opening for Team 1. They're clearing off the players of Team 2. Goose tries to get something done, but in the end, it will be Team 1 reasserting control, 20%.
Yeah, late entry to the point by CLK, picks up the Ana, but is going to get traded out pretty quickly. Don't know if that one really pays off there, but I suppose if you needed to reset, you needed to reset. I think with the sort of fast engagement comp we're seeing here from Team 1, it's going to be pretty difficult to keep running this double off-tank comp there. Don't have as much heal. The hook and bubbles do a little work, and that's just going to
Goose over the top, avenges McGiff. The dragon comes through, combined with the grab, classic grab dragon combo. Wiped away the point with no mercy in tow. Might have been difficult for Team 2, but they had the ultimates they needed to get the job done as they flip the point control back into their favor.
Yeah, 3 ultimates to get the fight win there. They get the fight win, but I don't know if it's long-term viable. We're going to see sort of a similar thing coming back from their opponents now. They got the stake 2 good, going to have the grab online. Probably looking to combine that with the slam from Doomfist. That said, Nasik fan taken out really early.
Went up for that slam, but came straight down onto the scrap con of Brock, who opens up the whole hog to finish off a couple. And Team 2, they invest a lot again, Poronius, but they're holding on and building up close to that 100%.
Yeah, Nano Hog gets them through that next fight. Goose is going to have another barrage coming in for this final one. So it's all going to be down to this. If Goose can get a big barrage on the entry here, can absolutely get them through this round. But if that doesn't work out, it could be a quick point cap here.
Oh, Nasik going after CLK yet again. Has to use the medial strike just to get out of dodge. Comes down on the point. McGiff is not having a fun day. The Graviton surge invested by Stake, but taken down almost immediately. There's a little bit of follow-up, but the kill's going either way for both teams. A late sound barrier from Scopes just to keep everyone alive as overtime has been triggered. Team 2 is in control of the point for the moment. Has overtime triggering away, but Goose not going to clean up. Team 1 still in this, but they invested a lot to get to this point.
Yeah, they've had to dump in just about everything. EXL's going to have the primal rage there, but I mean, whether or not that can be used to win a fight is really much of a muchness here. It can be very difficult, especially against a hog, to get a lot of value out of that one. Dragon Strike in onto the point is going to cover their entry there, but Goose is down early.
Yeah, a cutoff invalid. And in the meantime, Team 2, they tried to go in off the back of that, but Edith and Exel combining for a quick 4K. Gonna get the job done. Edith finally down. Brock gets a nice hook onto Nasik, but not able to follow up with a kill. Both of those players getting away. Team 1 looking dangerous for now.
Yeah, we're heading into final fight territory, and there's not a huge amount of tools on the table for either team. Nasik fan's gonna have the Doomfist seismic slam here. But the whole hog from Brock could be absolutely instrumental here as well. Here it comes. Scrap
It's
comes
unleashed.
out.
A biotic grenade onto the Roadhog's going to prevent any healing coming through. It allows it to be finished up. Invalid. And with the final blow there, Graviton surge onto a couple of members of Team 1 at the back, but in the end, no one from Team 2 able to touch. Team 1 secures the first round 100 to 99. This is going to be a close one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little surprised we didn't see any adaptation coming out of the team two with the tank line. Like, I don't think, given what they were up against, that they were really going to be able to make it happen with that. And they did a good job getting as far as they would, but that whole hog, especially if you can't get the nano boost onto it, it really does make Hog so vulnerable at the time. So if you're not in a position to immediately capitalize and pin some people up against the wall with that scrap gun and take them out, then it really can become a liability. And that's exactly what we saw as they got antied, they got unable to be healed, and they're just a big sponge that very quickly eats a lot of damage.
And we saw a great bio nade there from Invalid to shut any healing down. I mean, McGiff had the Valkyrie, was able to keep the Roadhog alive, if not for the anti-heal. Anyway, we're into a new round. CLK opening up over to the Doomfist. Sick of having that fist in their face this whole time. Willing to give as good as they get. Takes down Scope straight away. Nasik fan Stake follow immediately. So Team 2 making an impact early.
Yeah, this is an interesting adaptation here. Bringing CLK over the Doomfist means that they can counterpunch in and play that sort of aggressive game as well. They're still running Brock on the Hog. Marash has gone over the D.Va, but with the high ground on this map, that makes a lot of sense. You need something to contest that. And we're actually seeing Hogs from both teams now as EXL onto a Hog of their own. So it's going to be Hog Zaya against Hog D.Va. Main tank players quietly sobbing in the background.
Well, who knows, maybe the team's lucked out and both of the tanks assigned off-tank players, so they're loving life right now. Brock sitting on the high ground looking for an opportunity to hook, not quite enough. Fine stay. What a pulse bomb. McGiff is getting pummeled left, right and center, not having the best of days. CLK down as well. A great bio grenade by Invalid, sealing the Doomfist's fake kills coming back for Team 2. But Edith there being a nuisance on the Tracer, getting the job done. Team 1 looking to almost flip the point back, just need to clean up this last little D.Va.
Yeah, what a great fight there from Edith. I mean, you stick a bomb onto a Flying Mercy and then you get, what, 3 kills during the fight? Really impressive work there from Edith on the Tracer. Definitely someone to watch here if they can keep this performance up. But that said, I mean, they finally captured the point at 56%. There's still a long way left to go in the round. We're going to need a bit more from the team on the whole if they want to close this one out.
Goose has the barrage ready, looking for an opportunity to use it. Could get some assistance via Bouncer's nano boost. Oh, Nasik has to meteor strike out of the hook. Brock almost got the job done on the Doomfist. He comes down on the top in the middle. And Exel plucks Goose out of the air, finishing off the Pharaoh. No barrage for you today. McGee could resurrect if they can get the position. Myrash is self-destruct over the top, providing plenty of cover. CLK following up onto Scope, a couple of kills back. But Team 2 running all over the point right now. They don't want to let Team 1 get anywhere near their capture percentage progress.
Yeah, absolutely. Then they will flip that one back at 60%. So still in the lead there, 49%. What we're looking at from Team 1. Team 1, however, a lot of ultimates coming into this next fight. If they can deal with Goose's barrage, which is really what you have to worry about on this entry here. And they've got a few ways to do it. A good Roadhog hook will absolutely shut that down mid-barrage. Sleep Dart available as well. They don't have a defense matrix to eat that one up, so they do need to be very cautious.
Nano out to CLK. In the meantime, the counter Doomfist Nasik going aggressive on McGee, punching the Mercy out of the air. Puts them right in Invalid's side. The Ana doing a great job. Goose over the top. Picks off the entire support line for Team 1. This is the opportunity Koala Kings need to seal the round and level us up here on Oasis. Myrash still on the point, very low, but able to finish off Nasik. Exel not long for this world. The hook not finding any value. Overtime is burning down. Can State get back? Yes, the Graviton third will allow them past 2. They're going to be burned down. The coalescence from Scope not quite granting them access to the point. No, it's not. Eden's back with a nano boost, a nano boosted Tracer. Not something you see every day. McGiff has to get the hell out of dodge as the Valkyrie wears off. The pulse bomb eaten by Myrash. That's a great turn of events for the D.Va though. Nasik and Invalid coming back, picking up a couple of kills. The whole hog from Brock just to force any attackers away. Gets slept in the middle of it. McGiff and Brock down. Team 1 are bringing themselves back into this. The reinforcements arrived in the nick of time. Team 2 not quite able to clear off the point. Myrash not going to be able to remake. And just like that, Team 1, they recapture the point from the grips of almost certain defeat.
Yeah, really impressive play for them to take that one back. However, it means that they're all back on these fast run-back heroes. May not be the comp they optimally want to be playing. I mean, Edith's still on Tracer, that's fantastic. See, the tanks are going over to the Monkey Hamster, so could struggle a little bit against this very front-loaded damage composition they're going to be up against. And of course, Lucio has not really been in a great place recently as well, so...
Okay, going after Invalid, but the support is there from Edith, taking care of Grandma. Stake goes down as McGiff flying around, goes low. Lots of players from Team 2 low. In fact, MyRash inching their way to being out of mech, but their kills are coming through right when they need it in the proximity mines. Invested on the point by EXL just to get Team 1 there, but the numbers still with Team 2. They just need to clean up the pesky last remaining players, and as we say that, Ghost, the barrage over the top, doesn't find any value. Shut down, sorry, that was Goose. Shut down by Edith, will be resurrected and brought back into the fight. So all that CLK coming up huge, picking up the 3K as the Valkyrie wears off from a gift. The overtime is burning down. Team 2 back in control of the point. They are still in this 1-1 on Oasis.
Yeah, that was such a close one there. In the end, once they finally got rid of Edith on that Tracer, it was all but clean up there. So really nicely done by the Doomfist to get that clean up. But great turnaround nonetheless. Like, Team 1 really made them fight for that one. We're going to be heading over to Garden next as our final stage. And this is really where Goose gets to be in their element. So this is possibly the hardest challenge here for Team 1, needing to turn this one around. We'll see if we see any adaptations out here. Looks like CLK is actually going to go over to the Sombra here, which could be really nasty for Nasik, who's been pretty consistently playing this Doomfist to a decent level. Sombra can really shut that one down. We'll see how that one unfolds. And Edith going to be over on the McCree, perhaps trying to pick off Goose in the sky.
Team 2 makes their way onto the point first. Lots of fast heroes enabling them to get there. Stake jumps onto the high ground, knocks everyone down. Now both teams engaging on the point. Yeah, McGiff going down again. As Team 1 really focusing on that Mercy, and Edith follows up with another kill onto Goose. The entire pharmacy gone, as is MyRash. Looks like the answer to the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Edith, I mean, they picked off the Ana at the start of the fight, then picking off the Mercy as well. That is both the enemy supports down, and from that point on, it is just cleanup. Really great performance there from Edith. They have to worry about keeping that McCree safe, though. They don't really have the kind of tanks that McCree really works the best with, so he's going to be vulnerable to angles. There really isn't a lot of safe places they can be, other than using the natural terrain themselves. They don't have a tank they can pair up with super well. And that means Edith needs to play this one smart. They're going on a bit of a flank now, so we may see them pop up.
Oh, Goose! Edith's going to be chased down. The Diva, MyRash, there attempting to get a little vengeance, but McCree able to roll out of danger. Gets hacked for his efforts. Hacked for their efforts. Not going to be able to use the Deadeye just yet. And Nasik and State going down, followed immediately by Exel. The Deadeye's there just as a little deterrent, but it won't be enough. Team 2 in control of the point. They'll flip it for their own control.
Get the flip there, but at 53%, it's not a bad opening, nonetheless. We'll see the last bit of cleanup there. And more importantly, they've still got a lot of tools. They only invested the Deadeye there, and Deadeye, despite what we've seen previously, generally isn't that impactful and ultimate outside of a few exceptional hands. So not a huge investment there. That said, Team 2 didn't really have to invest a lot to take it either, only the whole hog, so they have a lot available, including that all-important EMP that can be so crucial for winning fights if you're able to land a big one.
Indeed it can. Stake popping up in that little window above the point, spotted by MyRash, and Team 2 sitting on top of so many ultimates. Well, actually, both teams sitting on top of so many ultimates. Into a cavalcade, the first invested is the nano boost onto State, looking to build that primal rage and put some pressure onto the backline. Give answers with the Valkyrie. Goose slept in the middle of the barrage. It wasn't a kill, but in the end was able to pick up 2. Edith and Invalid answering back almost immediately. The resurrection onto Goose, keeping the Pharah in the fight. As Team 2 build up past Team 1's percent, they're holding on to the objective.
Yeah, they've held on to the objective and they've held on to the EMP as well, which means the fact that Team 1 didn't fully invest all of their ultimates here is of less value. They're starting to run out of time, and you've still got a Sombra ult to get through. Edith's actually going to swap over onto the Widow, so McCree not doing enough there. It's an interesting play here. You don't often see a late round swap to Widow because they're not really good at point presence. And
Oh, there you go,
that's
mate.
a great opening pick.
Nice epic. The EMP is huge. Hits 5 players. Invalid gets hacked at the end just to confirm the full 6-player hack. Nasic on the point trying to get something done, but McGiff ably staying away from that. The Meteor Strike invested just to keep the Doomfist alive. Coming back down on the high ground. The Graviton Surge eaten. Exel punished for it. The whole hog finishing off the Zarya. It's not your round, mate. Too bad. So sad. Nasic. That was a bit mean. Nasic does find the kill onto Brock, and Edith on the point, making an impact. Picks up bounce yet again. Invalid and Edith, though, counted down by Goose. Nasic trying their darndest to keep the team in the fight. There's some reinforcements there in the form of the Moira and the Winston. It looks like Team 1 might just have enough to flip the point if they can pick off this pesky Mercy.
Yeah, they're going to get the kill onto McGiff, but not before the res has come through. That said, Goose alone is not going to be able to hold this ground. He is going to have to back away. Nonetheless, things are getting pretty dicey here for Team 1. They are once again on the speed heroes. Edith has gone over to the leg 76, just so they can continue to have that hit scan presence, but get back a little faster. It means they're in a bit of a suboptimal position on the whole. They do have the Moira ult available. They have to worry about a barrage from Goose, though, and those can be really dangerous.
Stake flying after the pharmacy. Cups a few rockets to the face. Goose finishing that one off. The barrage comes out. Nasic is the victim of that. Edith picks off bounce in the back line, so got that Ana's number on a variety of different heroes. But Scope answering with the Coalescence. There goes McGiff. Edith removing the entire support line from Team 2. That could be the opening that Team 1 needs to hold on to the point and take out Oasis. We're in final fight territory here. Overtime has been triggered, 99 versus 99. Whoever wins this fight will take away the map, put themselves onto an early match lead. Nasic finishing after the last couple of players. CLK back on the Doomfist, but it's not quite enough. Overtime burning away. No one else will get close enough. Oh, the Winston almost did, but that will see Team 1 taking out the first map.
Yeah, great performance here from both teams. This is looking like a really close matchup here, and Team 1 in the end are able to get through, perhaps showing just a little bit of extra flexibility. We see them swapping up heroes a fair bit. Team 2 looks really hesitant to do the same in a lot of the places. We did see a little bit of adaptation out of them, but most of it was between rounds adaptation rather than mid-map. Now, it's an interesting, like, you have that always ever present difference of opinion in Overwatch, where is it better, if you're in that situation, is it better to reset your economy to fix your comp, or is it better to just try and work with the economy you've got, given how important economy is for these rounds? And in the end, I think it turns out that Team 1's willingness to swap up the comps as needed gets them across the line there. And, I mean, it's got to see if Team 2 continue to be really stubborn about swapping, or if they start to become more willing to do so as the series unfolds. Regardless, really closely fought between these two sides.
And Team 1 really showing off the impact that having a barrier can make to a team. Yeah, Team 1 comes in with a whole lot of damage. They can melt you down almost immediately if you get hooked. But the barrier allows you to get places. You can put it down, walk past an opening, and without losing a member. And that's just something that teams have to come to grips with, that yes, it's Roadhog Zarya is good in certain circumstances, but sometimes you just can't beat a good barrier.
Yeah, I mean, shields are good, main tanks are good. That's why most metas have them.
That's why main
like-
tanks still play main tank, even sometimes if there's, when they're in the triple DPS setup, you know, someone's got to do the hard job because it's necessary for Overwatch. Yes, it's an FPS, but it's got those MOBA elements in it.
Yeah, absolutely, and we see the value of that here. I mean, there's so many vulnerabilities to that Hog Zarya composition, and I mean, anyone who's played ranked, you know, a year, 2 years ago will know all of them, because that's all people would ever lock in. But like, you really do miss out on a lot of things. You just don't have the peel. You're relying on your hog to be keeping the hook to deal with people trying to jump the back line. You're relying on Zarya saving the bubbles, not using the bubbles to get the charge up as much. And push comes to shove. If you've got someone who's just spamming damage, you've got nothing against that. So it just makes it really difficult there. And when you've got an enemy team that's running things like your Tracers and your Doomfists that are just jumping into the backline and creating havoc, you've got no option to deal with it other than trying to jump into their backline and disrupt their team first. It becomes just the race of who can kill the other team faster. And I mean, we've had metas around that. That's kind of Dive in a nutshell. Let's face it. It's, you know, who can kill who faster. I mean, some dive teams would look to counter dive and peel, but a lot of the time it was just, if they're going to jump us, we better jump them first. So it can work, but it's a very aggressive playstyle, and without the defensive tools, you've got no sustain. You're not running healers anymore that have your sound barriers or your transcendences. You don't have those big defensive tools to bail out of problems. So you're really just relying on fragging out first, and it's a very dangerous game.
But it does mean it's a great field for Ana players. Invalid will be licking the lips at the kind of composition that Team 2 has thrown at them. There's nothing to stop your bio grenades. You throw them on the enemy team, oh look, they've got no healing, they've got no protection, watch them melt. And they were showing off really big, particularly on University. I mean, they shut down that last whole hog at the end with a fantastic bio grenade. Looking forward to see what else they can come out with. And if Bounce could have the same kind of impact, but they were really getting hunted down a lot by Edith on that last map.
Yeah, oh, it's hard to be. It's hard to be an Ana, especially if there's a Tracer who's looking for you. You are going to be the person to die. Being Ana is kind of like being Zen. You are the big, slow, easy target. You are both a high-value target and one with very little in the way of evasive options. So
And
you
it
are
comes,
often, yeah.
it comes down to the peel available from your team, and to the point you just made about the Zarya Roadhog setup, you've got no peel.
Yeah, like you've got a bubble, and once that bubble's gone, you've got to hope your hog lands the hook, but a blinking Tracer is not the easiest hook target, is it?
No.
Either way, we will be seeing a bit of a change here. We've got a dive comp coming out from Team 2 here. The
Oh, Edith.
Sky dive, and Edith did not have a good day when that one came out. This is going to be a very aggressive composition here.
Skycomp is back. CLK and Goose combining on the Echo and the Pharah, making an impact straight away. CLK melting down the supports. Goose taken out of the air. Nasic somehow doing the job on Doomfist, but the damage is done. Team 2 in control of the cart, pushing it towards point A.
Yeah, it's going to be a cleaned up point A. They could potentially come in for a recontest here if they really wanted to, but I think if you're going to be running Edith on Widow, you'd much rather set up for the second. No, it looks like okay. Maybe they're going to come in despite what I'm saying.
Well,
here.
might just be the Roadhog.
Way back onto the point.
Well, the
We
cuts.
do see them commit in. Nasic going ham once again in the backline, but still okay there to trade them out.
Yeah, the cart had stopped, so it's given Team 1 an opening to come back into the fight. You see Brock going up on the high ground, over onto the Winston, putting a lot of pressure on the backline. Goose and CLK following that up again. The support line for Team 1 burned down. The defense falls apart once they have no healing available to them. Nasic getting a little bit of time back on the clock, but in the end, Team 2 will be pushing it home. 5 minutes left to push through the second point.
Yeah, and they're going to be looking to set up here and try and play the long-range game. They want to get the full value of Edith's sightlines here, because they have to get within jumping range to really be able to pounce on Edith. And now that Edith knows what is coming in there, it's unlikely to see them drop quite as quickly. There's a lot of space available on Route 66. You can definitely play the Widow to great effect. And
There
we're
you
seeing
go.
that now. They take out Goose. XL will hook in and take out Brock as well. The Gift is able to get the res off, but those doors have shut. Payload is completely in control. The defenders rather are in complete control of the payload here. And now it just becomes a couple of really nasty sight lines that are pretty easy to lock down.
It's a nice spot defensively. You've got the Roadhog, who doesn't have, there's not so much space, which means you're always in range of the hook. That barrier from Brock will be the only saving grace. On the high line, you see CLK diving in as the duplicate Doomfist, almost gets burnt down immediately, but in the meantime, the distraction is enough for Goose to go to work, takes out 2, including their counter in Edith. The Meteor Strike coming down for CLK. Puts up quickly as you do when you're duplicated Echo, or Echo in duplication, and the cart will be pushing forward yet again, somewhat reminiscent of the first point.
Yeah, they managed to get that one going. They managed to break through. And again, we've got the potential for a retake here, but it's really hard to push out through that little space. The attackers are really able to set up around this. Don't know if they're going to go for it. I think it looks like when they're positioning, their tank's starting to arrive. They are working their way out, but they're really going to be walking into not
the nano barrage.
Actually, maybe, yeah, a literal barrage.
Here we go, Goose down over the top, picks up one. CLK there with a couple of extra kills. Excel managed to finish off Goose. McKeith using the rest onto Bounce. Nice fire grenade though from that. Ana brought back into the fight, finishes off EXL in the middle of the whole hog. See Team 2 pushing through ably onto the third point.
We'll get that into this third point. This is where it starts to become a lot harder for these flying heroes. It's a bit less space. Maybe it's going to be a bit easier to set up a defense around here. EXL is going to move over onto the Winston as well. So again, looking to jump into the backline, maybe support Nasik on those, who's taken out Bounce yet again, but they're getting better at trading out Nasik, not letting that Doomfist just take out half their team.
These DPS are both making beeline straight for the healers of Team 2, but as you mentioned, it's good to see the attacking team adapting to that. Valkyrie invested from McGiff, as is the duplicate. CLK now a Winston, so double Winston setup, something we haven't seen since No Limits Overwatch, and it's so brutal. CLK bopping them around in spawn, putting them right into Goose's sightline. The Pharaoh can just float around uncontested, invalid. Immediately removed by a 2-rocket barrage. EXL burned down. Some reinforcements coming out from Team 1, but now they're going to face Brock with the Primal Rage. It never ends as an event. It's just walking to angry monkeys. They come out, Stake throws the Graviton Surge on the cart, groups up a few people with it, not able to get the follow-up. MyRepublic, self-destruct, cleans up too. EXL back out on the cart, looking to build out that Primal Rage there. Oh, so close. They might be able to find a little bit of time, but a nice bio grenade. Cutting the Winston down in his prime. Stake slept on the cart. Yeah, we'll be blocking progress where the body is lying. Scope back out, but wasn't able to pull out the Valkyrie. A lot of survivability required from Invalid, but the Lucio not tricky enough to escape from Brock. Tesla Cannon melting that down. Both the Winstons now out, melting each other. CLK, so he duplicates the Lucio, brings up the Soundburrow. EXL, the Primal Raging Monkey, comes out. Scope finally able to invest the Valkyrie, but a great fire grenade from Bounce. Ana is carrying this team on their back with these nades. A couple of kills now from Edith and Nasik. They come out, the DPS trying to make an impact for Team 1. It might not be enough scope. Now on the Moira, gets melted down instantly. Edith finally taken care of, and Team 2, they get the job done. 2 minutes, 12 seconds left in the time bank.
Yeah, an impressive defensive stall there coming out from Team 1. In the end, they're not able to turn the difference, not able to turn the tide, and that will be capped over. 2 minutes 12 is a pretty good time to be finishing in Route 66, but when you look back at the map, there really weren't that many moments where the cart was not progressing forwards. They didn't really get the level of stall you really want out of that final stage either, because they were just playing desperately for time. They had a good stall there at the end, but that's because it was a good stall because of how precarious everything was. In the end, they were never able to set up a proper defense there on that third point, and the time sort of reflects that. We'll see if they can fare better here on the offense. Team 2 looking like they're coming out with a Bastion here to set up, and that could be really nasty against the sort of comps we've been seeing so far.
Oh jeez, what do? Throw your Winston in, or gets melted down in midair by the Bastion? You're running Roadhog Zarya, you can't even get close enough to contest. So Team 1 will have to pull out all the stops if they want to hold on here on Route 66, take the map out. Otherwise, Team 2, they'll be looking good going into the third map, of this match.
Yeah, definitely would be. We'll see. It's going to be a bit of a rude shock when they notice that double shield bunker comp with the Bastion there. They're seeing Goose in the sky. At this point, they've surely got to expect that. Likewise, Nasic on the Doomfist. Not really that effective against the Bastion, given that when the Bastion is set up, you can't punch them anywhere. And they've seen it now, and I think we've maybe got some deliberation as to how that's going to be resolved. Nasic's still going in, actually going to flank all the way around behind.
I think they're going to try and respawn in the attacker's spawn room. Oh no, Stake leaps right on top of CLK, but the Bastion melting down the Winston. Goose and Bounce go low. Goose actually out of the fight as CLK gets another one onto Scope. That's the Lucio got no more speed boost. Nasic finally making an entrance, goes right after McGiff, takes the Mercy out of the fight. So a little ray of sunshine here for the attacking team. There's not going to be a resurrection with Edith following it up onto Bounce. There's no healing. The Bastion might be a danger when you've got supports, but now he's all alone.
Yeah, I like the guts of just committing onto it and trying to break through it. Edith takes down Goose as well, and then Myrash as well. So Edith absolutely putting in the performance here.
Edith! The Tracer coming up trumps. Brock absorbs the Pulse Bomb, but the damage isn't coming from the Pulse Bomb, it's coming from those Pulse Pistols. Myrash, it's isolated, cut down. Brock back in the fight, but won't be long for this world. A little bit of stall gain, but in the end, Team 1 with a rock-solid point A attack, just like Team 2.
Yeah, they managed to get that one through. Almost 5 minutes on the clock for the rest of the round. CLK just looking to come in, drop the configuration tank, maybe pick someone up, maybe not. They're probably going to be swapping over onto something else here. You know, maybe you get a kill and delay the attack just a little bit longer. And yeah, sure enough, they will be going back over onto the Echo. So again, going to be taking advantage of the long sight lines. Going to make it a lot harder for Edith to get work done without as many ground-based targets to go after. That said, they're still running an Ana, and I mean, that is still just the primary target for any flanking Tracer.
Shows you the amount of fear that they have of this Tracer, that both the DPS just want to get off the ground. Even Bounce on the high ground under pressure. There you go, CLK taken down. Unfortunately had to touch the ground. AXL's self-destruct over the top removes McGiff. No resurrection coming through for the defending team, nor a Valkyrie. Bounce being removed from the fight as this goes. No more Sky Comp, no more support. This cart is going to push its way home to the end of point B.
Yeah, it should be fairly easy to lock that one down. Will we see any changes adapting coming into this third point? We've got Brock and Myrash onto the Hog Diva at the moment. Looks like that's what they'll be sticking with coming into this final phase. And Hog can brawl reasonably well here, but again, you don't have the main tank. We'll see how that one works out. I mean, that's a good hook there onto the Winston, but he's gonna jump away.
Give over the back, flying around with the Valkyrie toe. Oh, Nasic comes down, alright, on top of Bounce's head. CLK gets some vengeance. The resurrection may be there from McGiff. The Valkyrie invested, yes, the Ana back into the fight as Edith removed. The Tracer gone will allow Team 2 to breathe a sigh of relief. Then backline's not going to be harassed too badly. EXL, the Diva stuck, knocked out of Mech. We'll try and remake, of course, Route 66. Nowhere to throw yourself off at the end of point C. And a whole going to be forcing the defenders back for the moment. CLK duplicates. The Winston goes right after XL. The Mini Diva finally removed from the fight, but the DPS for Team 1 bringing it back. Nasic with 2. Edith, the Pulse Bomb, removing Bounce in the fight. A nice fire grenade follow-up from Invalid. Going to be keeping Brock on their toes. The Roadhog not able to use the Rib Breather. Myrash knocked out of Mech. Team 1 wants to set an even better time back than Team 2.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you want coming into it. Goose will pick up Edith there so they can breathe a sigh of release, but Nasic is back as well. So it's not all over yet. Team 2, they're starting to get reinforcements out on this point. Payload is getting precariously close to the end, and Goose is just trying to lob that damage in as much as they can. Try and suppress the attackers as that payload getting very close to the line.
Oh, that's a nice start from Edith, taking CLK out of the fight. Kills answer back and forth by both teams. The barrage goes off. Goose manages to survive, showing you how great a firer they are. But Edith and Nasic showing up big time. Nasic punching the Diva away. Myrash trying to touch the cart, but there's so much knockback, keeping the Diva away. CLK now back out on the Doomfist. It's not a duplicate Doomfist, that is a regular Doomfist. Immediately cut down. Epic and Nasic fan. The kill feed is all blue with these two players. McGiff tries for a resurrection, but not able to pull it off. as Team 1 pushes it home, setting an even better time bank than Team 2. 2 minutes 45 remaining for them.
Yeah, it's really showing that either of these teams sort of struggling to play the defense there. That one, we saw a bit more in terms of defense in that final stage, but at the same time, the rest of the map was pretty straightforward. So we didn't really have any position where it was held up prior to that area. So they will finish with the much better time bank. Team 1 will. 45 extra seconds. It's enough for an extra fight. We'll see how it unfolds here. Someone needs to come up with some plan to successfully defend here. But it is so hard to defend against what's being thrown out there. I mean, Goose is an incredibly strong Pharah, and CLK plays such a variety of DPS heroes to a high level as well. Meanwhile, Nasic is an incredibly good Doomfist that will just get into your backline. They play it smart, and they know if they can't just jump straight in, they'll go for those long flanks and turn up when they are least expected. And Edith, both an incredible tracer and quite dangerous on other hit scan heroes as well. So it's really going to come down to who can get the advantage over the other team's DPS here, because these DPS are truly dangerous.
As the course of the match is going on, we're seeing the teams also solidifying to more what you call stable compositions. Both teams running the Winston main tank with the Zarya or D.Va in support. So it's nice to see the adaptions are coming through for both teams. They know that this ain't going to be easy no matter who wins this map.
Yeah, absolutely. Seeing high ground defense on top of Big Earls. Now they're going to commit forward onto the payload, but a really nice biotic grenade is going to mean Stake Too Good is sent back to spawn. Nasic has really been traded out a lot. We're seeing this a lot. They'll get a kill onto the supports, but Myrash is there to pick them off. And so it looks like Team 2 will come out the better on this first point. Again, there's going to be the potential for a late recontest here, but surely you don't. Surely you don't go for it. You're not going to have everyone. Now they're gearing up for it.
Do it. I mean, 80% of the way to Pulse Bomb, and a nice stick, 2 kills could be the opening that Team 1 needs to get back into this. If they're going to do it, they've got to go now. The Pulse Bomb online. We'll see where the Tracer chooses to put it down. Exel gets slept, woken up almost immediately. Nasic and EXL, though, going down. Pulse Bomb didn't find any value in the end. Was Edith able to find McGift, but it's too little too late. Team 2 pushing through to the end of point A. 40 seconds remaining on the clock.
It's just so hard to recontest into those final parts, both the end of stage 1 and the end of stage 2. You're really coming in from like one of about 2 or 3 really narrow chokes. It's just so hard to push into. The positional disadvantage is really significant, and you give up all of the first part of the next point to do it, which means you're trading good ground for bad. I really don't think it's the right call, but we're seeing it consistently from both of these teams, and we're seeing them both get punished for it.
So plenty of tools for Team 2 to work with. Goose gets a kill onto Invalid. Hasn't even had to invest EMP yet. There you go. It's over the top. Hits 4 of the 5 remaining players. Edith immediately burned down the turret. Still trying to do something as the cart moves its way forward. A great dynamite from CLK. Finishing up 2, and Brock's Primal Rage keeping the doorways clear. Team 2 in control of the second point. This cart could potentially finish second.
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, again, it comes down to if you go for a retake here rather than looking for an early retake in part 3, you're probably giving up a whole bunch of extra progress, because it rarely works out. We are going to see them instead looking to come and take this defense in 3. They're going to go for the early top of ramp defense instead. I think much better move there. Early kill from the Edith, though, is not great for the defense. They're going to back up here. They don't want this one getting all the way.
Turns out Goose, not only a godly Pharah, but a supreme Sombra as well, has been getting the first kill in a few of these fights and building up AMP ridiculously fast.
It's what you want from your Sombra, but there's a kill onto CLK. This is an opportunity for the defense to finally get control of this payload. The res is going to be invested, though. Sound barrier in, they're committing to this fight.
Yeah, the tanks of Team 1 went up on the high ground trying to get a kill on a single player out there, but they're punished for it. The response from Team 2 is good, but Team 1 not out of this quite yet. Stake and EXL, they were listening to what I'm saying, you know, accounting for the time delay of the stream, but they get a couple of kills to halt Team 2 right here at the second to last turn on the third point. That will be where the cart stops 31 meters in, but that was a phenomenal push by Team 2.
Yeah, great push there. They are in a great spot to close this one out. I mean, all it takes is really at this point, all it really takes is one successful defense earlier on. Even if you can just win one fight off them, it's going to be so hard to have enough time to get it all the way through. You've absolutely made up for your shorter time bank at this point. So a lot of pressure here now on Team 1. They've got a long way to go. They don't have a lot of time to do it. You can almost afford to play a really defensive game, a really passive game where you just lightly poke them, look to build up ultimates, don't really commit to anything, wait for the clock to run down, and then commit into one fight. Probably make it happen with the sort of distance that you need to cover.
And if that one ultimate is the EMP, you can shut down any kind of protection that Team 1 would have. Given what they're sitting on right now, that sound barrier would be the one thing keeping them alive in a prolonged, in the side of a big burst of damage. So all eyes will be on the battle between Scope and Goose. Can this Lucio outwit that little hacker in Sombra?
I mean, we did see in that last round that the EMP came out to counter the sound barrier, but it didn't matter in the end. I was still able to commit through onto it because it was used to cover the engagement. Still, both these teams looking to make it happen. We see, again, the Big Girls defense. It's the stock and standard on this map for a reason. But we're back onto the Roadhog Diva here on that gas station rooftop. So see if it works out. CLK is on the Ash once again. He can really get a lot done from there. But
that dive is so good. Well coordinated. Nasic went around the outside. We saw State goes right up main straight. Edith able to pick off one, and the DPS following up. Team 1 looking to get their attack off to second round attack off to a great start. They want to at least get to the end of the A with time left in the bank, and they're going to do it.
Yeah, easily. I really like the way they played that one. It was a great multi-pronged dive, and Edith was just sitting there waiting for someone to get knocked up into the sky so that they can take their head clean off. Really well played there by the team. And it looks like we are going to be seeing again
they're going for it.
Late point recontest.
Brock.
It never works out.
Yeah, the Roadhog went a little bit early there. The rest of the team still had to come up and around the corner, and as a result, you see both the tanks from Team 2 removed. McGiff, no resurrection for you, love. As Team 1 pushes their way in, they've got 1:15 left on the clock to complete B and part of C.
Yeah, well, they've been given a whole bunch of extra space to do it by that late recontest. Edith now able to get set up on B, take advantage of the long sight lines, and these defenders are going to have to make their way out of the very narrow positions. We're seeing Brock getting absolutely destroyed here.
Breathing
all the way back into C. This is why you don't go for that late recontest, ladies and gentlemen, because it is just so easy to punish like this.
And Brock was on their way back. They got caught out. There's no help from the team. Team 1 was ready for that Roadhog. The rebreather wasn't enough to save them. So we're looking now, CLK and Goose sitting on top of their ultimates. Actually, most of the team will be sitting on top of their ultimates. We'll see if they can make a difference. MyRash starting out onto Nasic, removing the Doomfist and the Meteor Strike. Seeing MyRash go around. Yeah, MyRash though around on the cart trying to provide some stall, but the support is there. EXL willing and ready to help there. Ana now. You see Team 2 streaming in one by one. It's not getting the job done. Nano boost onto counter tanks. Roadhog and Winston, the self-destruct over the top from EXL, clearing some space. The cart is stalled for the moment, but a great bio grenade is going to stop any thoughts of a defense. Scope with the late sound barrier. Might have wanted to hold on to that one now that Goose has free reign with the EMP.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to be available there to counter that. It's all going to be down to this last fight on the ramp, and all of these ultimates available for the defense means that Team 2 are in a great position to take this one out. I mean, they've got Bob, they've got the EMP, they've got a self-destruct, but Edith taking out CLK is a good opening.
Oh, they got the cart! What? Oh no, Team 1. Oh.
Play of the game.
Well, that is wouldn't be Overwatch without the old letter number. And
Well, I'm
there
glad
it
we
is.
got
We're getting it out of the way nice and early.
Oh no, I mean, geez, imagine that was the semi-final or the grand final. But by goodness, Team 1, they. Oh, but you know what? That means we get more of this match yet to come. Now 1-1, and my goodness, I wouldn't even be wanting to predict who is going to take away this match. Just
Yeah.
yet, I have to see the evidence for myself, not only to avoid me being wrong on stream, but these two teams, there's almost nothing dividing them.
There really isn't. They're both playing a very aggressive play style. They're both adapting as well they can. There's a couple of moments in there that were looking very dangerous, but in the end, Team 1, well, they pulled through where it counted, but then they got off the payload right at the end. It was really looking like Edith might be able to get them into a fight that they had no business winning. It's such an anticlimax. I'm actually really annoyed about that one, but
And they weren't even under that much pressure. They just stepped off the car while it was waiting at the door.
yep, easiest mistake in the world to
Oh.
make. It's something we've seen a bit actually from them. It sort of happened a bit on their first attack as well. We're not having a support player glued to that thing as often, and there has been times where that payload is just sitting there dormant because the Annas had to move up to get line of sight to where a fight's going on because the tanks and DPS that have pushed forward to take space have ended up getting dragged into a fight that maybe wasn't intended to be a team fight, but has become one. And so you have to bring your Anna up to have line of sight, and then your payload's not moving. And I think that's possibly a communication issue. I think your front line in that situation absolutely needs to back off. If it's not a skirmish that you can quickly win, you can't afford to commit to that until your back line is going to have line of sight to you. And we're ending up in nasty situations where the payload isn't moving as a result of that. And well, I mean, we just saw it end. The ultimate punishment for that one is, of course, the preemptive ending of the map.
Well, hopefully they'll learn their lesson from that, and they'll know they can't afford any mistakes when it comes to competing with Team 2. Because given the way this is going, you know, if these teams do end up being the top of the group, not that I'm saying they are, we don't have any information on how the other match is going yet, but that could be the difference maker if Team 2 is able to take out Volskaya, or we draw and take out Koth. Let's not go there just yet. It might be the difference between making the finals and not making the finals. So you've got to really be on the top of your game the entire way through this tournament. I mean, realistically, you probably expect that the teams that top the group are the ones that go undefeated. It'd be a weird case if we had a couple of teams 2-1, or even 3 teams at 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time, I'm actually surprised considering how much Team 2 have a significant amount in there that have gone all the way. How hard they're working in this first round to be coming up and against an opponent that's pushing you this hard this early means that either you've just had a really, really unlucky draw with your groups, or the caliber of competition is really raised for this one. And I suppose we'll find out as things unfold which of it is. It could just be that this group is stacked, and that's really unfortunate for those of them that have ended up in it, if so.
Hey, well, it'll be okay for the winner of the tournament. You know, you can at least say you've beaten the best team in the tournament. No, sorry. If you're the winner of the tournament, you are the best team in the tournament. You know what? Let's not go there. I'm losing my marbles at this point. But I mean, there's so much great talent on both of these teams, and we saw Goose. We talked about them coming into the day on the Pharah. We saw that for Oasis, and then the switch on to Sombra, I think, was a really smart pick coming out on Route 66. They made a great impact, and in particular, getting those kills at the start of the fight, not just off the back of an EMP, but building up to the EMP can make a real difference.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we saw some great Sombra play there, as you said. They were getting big EMPs. They were hitting 3-4 people every time consistently, and they were well timed. They were really stopping counterattacks. As we saw it once, it came out immediately after the sound barrier, just cancelling all of those extra barrier hit points. Unfortunately, it didn't end up being enough to turn the fight around from that point. But yeah, just great performance. I mean, I've been really impressed by what we've seen from the DPS on both teams. They've really shown both high levels of performance on the heroes they've been playing, and some of them they've been playing a lot of different heroes to show that high level of performance.
Indeed, and another player who's been playing a few different heroes, Edith, an absolute terror on the Tracer, but showing up on the Widowmaker as well. We saw a little bit of McCree on Oasis doing a good job of that, taking care of the pharmacy in a couple of fights. Not the easiest thing to do in the world, but when you've got a player like that, you can breathe a little easier. And Team 1, they'll be looking for a bit of revenge once we get to Volskaya. Of course, they took out Oasis. They set themselves up as the big boy team, as it were. So Team 2, perhaps a little relieved that they were given the opportunity to go to Volskaya, and we'll see if that championship mindset that some of those players have is enough to get them across the line and keep them in, let them take away the W here on Volskaya.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Team 1 has, through most of the series, had the advantage there. They got the better time bank as well. But Team 2, they fight back, and they fight back hard. And, well, we'll see if they will continue to fight back here, or if they, if Team 1 does prove to be the ones in top there. We'll be heading over to Volskaya next for our Assault Map mode, which hopefully will end up being the last one in this series. It could end in a draw, which would send us to Ilios, but I'm looking for a conclusion here on this map. I'm looking for the complete victory from one of these teams.
Well, which one it will be, we're so close to finding out, but in the meantime, let's enjoy what they throw at us. I'll be curious to see what Team 1, the Team 1 still sitting on the left, choose to throw it at us first, given that they'll have to firm it up and make their way to the first point. To perhaps no one's surprise, Edith hovering over that Tracer, looking to prove a right nuisance.
Yeah, absolutely. I think perhaps we're seeing Team 2 forced to adapt here. They're not running Goose on the Pharah here, instead coming out on the Sombra. Again, Nasic on the Doomfist has been an absolute nuisance, really just jumping in from unexpected angles, pretty consistently picking off a support, but they have been getting a lot better at punishing it as well. Even then, a lot of the time you'll happily trade a DPS for a support if your other DPS is as good as Edith has been. So it does take more than just shutting down the Doomfist to win the fights here. But a good hack onto the Doom can really leave them in a lot of trouble. Without a main tank to put up a barrier to block the hacks, I mean, everyone's very vulnerable to the hacks here on this team.
We'll see, okay, bringing the Tracer game of their own, as both the DPS Team 2 make their way straight to the point. Goose, while invisible, is having a little look-see, see what they're... Oh, that's a nice hook. We immediately removed from the fight. AXL showing up big. Nasic bouncing on bounce. We'll see the support line down for Team 2. They're going to have to go and rethink things.
Yeah, it's got to be rough to be bounce. I mean, you got a Doomfist that's jumping on you. You've got a Tracer that's going to be all over you as well, and like it's got to be a rough day. I do not envy Ana players in this sort of meta whatsoever, because it can just really be a bad time.
Well, they've made the best of it. Some fantastic bio grenades, some crucial sleeps. I've seen a couple of ultimate sleeps so far, so it may be difficult, but they're doing a phenomenal job of it. Speaking of phenomenal jobs, Nasic gets the hell out of dodge. CLK has to use their own abilities. Oh no, the Tracer goes low again, but no recall available this time. We'll have to get away manually, but if they're with the heals, nice bio grenade onto EXL. Of course, the rebreather used a little later. Now we're seeing McGiff flying around, but Edith hunting down both the supports. Team 2, they can get into the site, but they can't quite make any progress. Team 1 is holding firm, just the coalescence required.
Yeah, and after that first push, Goose has gone over to the Pharah, already 80% towards the barrage. Now CLK going to be going over to the Echo as well. So they're looking to abuse the lack of long-range hit scan heroes. Invalid really the only one who can provide a threat to a distant enough flying enemy. And Invalid doesn't really want to be that exposed either. We'll see how this adaptation works for Team 2 here, because Team 1, they're still holding strong.
Oh, SLK got hooked. I was able to get away briefly, but there you go. The hit scan from Invalid coming up trumps, and EXL, the whole hog on the point, not finding much value, just trying to keep anyone from making egress onto the point. A few ultimates invested by Team 2 to make their way on a minute 20 remaining on the clock, but a nano boosted EXL is going to prove too much for Goose to handle. The MyRepublic gets back in their mech, doesn't quite kill anyone with the mech. There's a high velocity piece of metal coming down, but in the end, Team 2 forced back yet again after a big investment.
Yeah, Lake Hill onto Edith is maybe an opening, but realistically, Edith can probably blink back to the point before they can mount another attack, especially with McGeeth being the last one going down. You don't want to push in without your mercy, but they are pushing forward to get the early poke in here, maybe trying to get some sort of beachhead, try and get some ground off these defenders. Unfortunately, it may just mean that Edith can really easily get into their backline because they're a little extended.
Oh, that's
out.
a nice fire grenade, forcing a few members to hide Ghost. Tries to plug in the barrage into the house, doesn't quite get any kills from it, but MyRepublic CLK taking advantage of the confusion. Picking up kills of their own. Goose gets low, goes down. Resurrection has to be used by McGee, but it's on to bounce, keeping their fellow support in the fight. A coalescence from Scope's going to melt down two of the remaining Team 2 members. 10 seconds left on the clock. Oh dear, Brock trying to get their touch at the point, but the whole hog keeping that hog in the corner. That will be all said and done with this attack. No one able to touch for Team 2. No matter how hard the DPS try, they are full held here on Volskaya A.
Yeah, and it really is a complete turnaround from what we saw on Route 66. Route 66, both teams struggling to put up any defense at all. Now we have Team 1 here on Volskaya completely shutting out the attack. Not a single tick of progress given up. That's going to put them into a great position to take this one, but that's been the series so far. Team 1 has been getting these early advantages, and then Team 2 has been shattering their hopes and expectations. Can Team 2 now put up an equal defense and send us through to that tiebreaker map, or is this going to be it for this map series? I mean, they only need 1/3 of the point, and they're going to have to deal again. It's Natic on Doom, Edith on Tracer. They are really hard to pin down. Can the defense come up with something to do just that?
Looks like CLK has something in mind. Over onto the McCree, hoping the flashbang can shut down at least one of these flanking DPS opponents.
Yeah, I mean, it's a high risk, high reward game, but I mean, at this point, that's what you need. You cannot take chances here. You need to make it happen. They need to start strong, pick up the first fight, build the momentum, get the economy behind them, and then use that leverage, that advantage at every turn they can. Still the attack, it's going to be another Hog Zarya composition coming in.
That's a nice bar grenade to start things out. EXL melted down instantly, got the hook onto Brock, but all they did was pull the other Roadhog closer to them for the final blow.
Yeah, it is a bit rough there. I mean, yeah, the hook can be a bit of a double-edged sword, but a bit of a backcap going on there. Edith's going to have to back away, but it's at least makes some space for the rest of the team.
No,
maybe push forward.
The bubble was there to save the Ana. The DPS collapsed onto the Ana, realizing she was alone on the high ground on that defender's left. But now Team 2 hold up on the point. EXL goes low. This time there's no biotic grenade to keep the Roadhog down. The rebreather comes through. There you go. Then Bionade eventually comes through, but well protected by the building. As the team trades on either side, bounce for Nasic. The Doomfist will be back a little quicker, one feels, and MyRepublic very low as well. Has his self bubble, has McGiff there in support, but while McGiff is healing the Zarya, no one else is getting heals. Invalid. Okay, sorry. Sorry, that's the defense. Still holding up strong though. Invalid and EXL going down. CLK doing a fantastic job. The Deadeye already online, takes out Stake. Looks like the Miss McCree pick is working.
Yeah, it does. It looked like for a moment there the attack would be able to grind them down. They went passive, just waiting for the reinforcement. But In the end, Nasik gets picked up on the hook on the way back in, and can't combine that with losing someone to the Deadeye there. And Team 1 have to back off. It's almost half the time gone here. But they haven't committed any resources whatsoever in the ultimate game whatsoever. I've said that a little too much there, but Team 1 building up to the tools that they need. Meanwhile,
Nanoboost and Nastic looking to be a danger, gets hooked right into Proc's line of sight. The whole hog ripped open, forces the dupe. It's a meteor strike away, but comes right down on bounce. Myrash removed. Edith takes down McGiff. This is the opening Team 1 was looking for. They were hoarding their ultimates for this very moment. They only needed 33% as Edith goes to the celebratory suicide. That will see Team 1 taking out Volskaya, taking the win, moving themselves to the top of the group.
Absolutely, and well-deserved here from Team 1. It was a hard-fought victory, but they played it just a little bit better. In the end, an incredible point A defense. Absolutely deserved to walk away with the win here. Team 2, however, they put up a hell of a fight here. If this was not stuck within a group, I wouldn't be surprised to see both these teams in the finals. In the end, though, I mean, with an opponent like that in the group, you've really got to feel for Team 2 because it's going to be pretty hard from them going forwards given how close this one was. Maybe you just got to hope that there's another team out there in your group just as dangerous that you can pick up the win against and have Team 1 go down. But, I mean, this is... to have such a strong, close matchup so early in the evening is definitely a surprise for me.
It is indeed, and if you look, we can see Team 1's player emblems. They're all Philly Fusion fans. At least they style themselves after the Philly Fusion, and given they're the #1 seed in NA for the current Overwatch League season, it's no surprising that the team they've taken the inspiration from that team and come up real good. But for now, well, we do have another match lined up. Given this one went for quite a while, I've been invited, so it is... I'm going to look away from the stream for a moment while I figure out which match it is. It will be Team 5 versus Team 7, so we're going down to the second group.
Yeah, so we will be swapping straight into the next matchup. And, well, hopefully this one a bit less of a close one just to give us a bit of a break, but I don't know, we'll see. We'll see how it goes as we look to head over there. I mean, what an incredible opening matchup. I mean, that is like finals level close at that point. To have that as our first game, it's gonna ruin the pace of everything else. Everyone's gonna be expecting the games to be that close to the rest of the tournament, and that's ultimately probably not viable, I'm afraid.
No, it will not be. Are we in the right match?
I think we might be. We might be joining the match in progress, given that we are running slightly behind schedule.
Yes, we've got a pause screen there, and so we're still trying to figure out which match. It will be Team 5 versus 7, and just looking at the players listed on these teams, I'm seeing some familiar names: SJC, Mutnik, Hypnotic, Eggy, Zildjian. There's a couple of players I recognize there from Ascent. I think Zildjian was a... I do know Mutnik. No, I'm thinking of someone else. You know what? In any case, we do have team names for these teams. At least we've got that. We've got Mutnik and the Space Dogs is Team 5, while Team 7 is known as Sexy Cabbage, and that's sexy with 3 X's, so you know they mean business.
So it's great to see some team names in here as well. A name like Mutnik Space Dog, it does have that very, very piratey theme to it, doesn't it?
Get on with it, you Space Dogs. I don't know why that went slightly accented. That was me going for a pirate accent. I know I can just use my normal voice. Arr! I'm going to ask our producer Nuttery, are we ready? Are you ready to go? Because the teams are asking. And you know what? We're getting on with it. We're here on the pole in round 2, and it's currently Hinox is on Team 7. So Team 7 is on the left, Team 5 is on the right, and Team 7 currently in charge of the point. Overtime burning down. They're up to 99%, and they've got the numbers advantage. Zildjian's Echo doing a lot of work, will be removed by Hypnotic, but the Doomfist themselves removed from the fight. And with the Resurrection Sergeant, they're bringing their Echo back into the fight, and the focusing beam burns down Tin. It looks like Team 7 is in control of the point. SJC doing what they can, but the big hammer of Reinhardt charging down SJC, followed by Josh. We'll see Team 7 picking up the first round here in Nepal.
So that will be Sexy Cabbage picking up the first round, and it's just nice to see a Reinhardt. We may not have been able to see much of that round, but definitely just great to see a main tank that isn't Winston. Good to see the big German boy back in action here. And so we have on Team Sexy Cabbage, we have Zaki, Kenzie on tank, Hinox and Zildjian on DPS, Sergeant and Eggy over on the supports, and over on Mutnik's Space Dogs. We have, of course, Mutnik himself, as well as Tin playing on those support heroes, Josh and Hypnotic on the DPS, and SJC and Mikul playing on those tank heroes as we make our way over to the Sanctum. And perhaps interestingly that we're not seeing any Orisa on Sanctum at all. I mean, I know there's been some changes there and people are looking for any excuse to not play Orisa, but still, this was Orisa's map for such a long time.
Perhaps some kind of agreement in place, and you know what? There's no agreement to a ceasefire of any kind. We'll see Mutnik and the Space Dogs. Sorry, so we'll see the Space Dogs opening up with a couple of kills. The DPS going in deep, taking control of the point. That we'll see first control going over to the team on the right.
Yeah, that's that a late kill onto Josh there on the Hanzo. It means it should be a good time for a counterattack coming through. And yeah, Hinox. Well, I mean, Hinox on the Ash has been hit with a biotic. There's a monkey in air at the moment as well.
And I can see Mikul has a sightline onto Hinox as well. So the Ash probably looking down the lens of fate, thinking, oh. Some friendly banter in the chat.
Hinox knows what's coming.
Oh, dearie me! But this is it's good for Mutnik and the Space Dogs. They've suffered that loss early, but they look like they're going to even it up, remove a fellow DPS from the fight, and we'll put Sexy Cabbage on the back foot. I'll have to go back and find another little outfit to put on. They want to come back in and impress.
Yeah, a good quick trade back is going to be exactly what they need, and if you can get to the if you get the good trade back onto Hinox there, it may cause them to back up and go for the reset, which is really what you need to consolidate your position. I mean, Josh, 72% towards that Dragon Blade in the first fight alone really tells you how much the Genji has been getting done. So you don't really.
Oh, Hinox got away.
Yeah, okay. The support.
Very cool. Very cool. The Wrecking Ball goes in, tries to follow up. Will get away with their lives. So a full 6v6 on the point as the Genji arrives back in the fight. Hypnotic flies over the top, gets in the back line, looking to put some pressure on Zildjian, but the McCree has the answer for that, and that is a friendly mercy with a healing beam right on you. Kenzie follows up onto Tin. A third of the Space Dogs are down. A Primal Rage invested by SJC just to make some space on the point. Oh no, Zaki goes swinging into the pit. SJC coming up big, removes Hinox from the fight as well. Kenzie on the point, melting people down with that Zarya beam. Had the bio grenade, able to survive a bit long. In the end, it will be Josh cleaning up off the back of some heroics from SJC. We'll see Mutnik and the Space Dogs holding on as they build up to 50%.
Yeah, and although again, Josh, after winning the fight, gets taken out early, this may be again an opportunity, but at the same time, Sexy Cabbages, they're not all there. And we see Zaki.
Oh, what an Earth Shatter! Lays it down, but doesn't get any follow-up kills, and it allows allows Tin back in with the Transcendence, putting paid to any progress for now. Though nice fire strike, we'll see Hypnotic going down. Josh returns to the fight. No Dragon Blade this time. Sergeant flying around on the Mercy, zipping back and forward, keeping everyone hale and hearty. Nice resurrection, bringing Zaki back into the fight. The Reinhardt looking for a target. really doesn't need to this time. Or they can just use their shield to clear off the proximity mines as the Sexy Cabbages flip the point to their own favor for the first time.
At 80%, it means they really don't want to give that one up. They can potentially come back for one last fight if they do lose it, but I mean, it's still not going to be clean. Zaki does get the opening kill there onto 10, but is traded back by SJC almost immediately. I'm really liking SJC's
Another Primal Rage!
play.
Holy cow! Sergeant is down! Taking care of that Mercy Hypnotic, the Meteor Strike on the high ground just to get some position. So SJC follows up, no Primal Rage this time, but able to remove Zildjian.
Oh, no.
Eggy goes down, followed by the Immortality Field. Hypnotic going absolutely ham. This team loves brawling it out, and it's paying off for them.
Oh yeah, SJC I am immediately a fan of. I love the way they're playing the Winston here. They are just really effective with their Primal Rages. They're getting a lot of damage in to get those very quickly as well. And we are just seeing some absolute bullying there from everyone's favorite side.
Another Shadow from Zaki! The same spot, but this time the follow-up isn't... Oh, again, the follow-up isn't quite there. Able to take Tim down, who's now across on the Brigadier, but Hypnotic and Josh answer back almost immediately. Now, that being said, Sexy Cabbage not out of this yet. They get some kills. Zildjian resurrected back into the fight. SJC, 99. What just built up like 40? Oh, Zaki went off the edge. So SJC got the Primal Rage, but didn't have the opportunity to use it. Sexy Cabbage holding on by the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, Zaki taking a long walk off a short edge there means that once again SJC getting a lot of progress from that, getting all of that Reinhardt health into their ultimate. Is they're going to be able to come back in with another Primal here, and there's just so much potential to knock yet more people down. We've seen them being very good at juggling. Now they come out with the Primal again.
Oh, Zaki. Oh, Zaki's in the pit yet again. It's just not
getting
their
bullied.
day. SJC putting a lot of focus onto the Reinhardt. Very smart play by the Winston. Goes after the Mercy. Sergeant able to get away for the moment, but the points flip back. Mutnik and the Space Dogs have got control of the point. Overtime is burning down the proximity mines, making any touch unlikely, dicey at best, and with that, they'll level us up here. We're going to go out to the village to decide Nepal.
And that just feels like going home at this point, doesn't it?
The good old Ascent starter map. A lot of these teams, a lot of these players, names are recognized from Ascent, so they'll be very, very familiar with this map, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they pull out. And this setup that we're seeing from Mutnik and the Space Dogs, the Wrecking Ball Winston, you don't see it often, but I like the kind of style it grants them given what the rest of the team is playing.
Yeah, it's a very aggressive composition, especially when you've got a Winston that's doing what SJC is doing. It can work really well. And then you're getting that slam damage and initiation damage from the Winston and the Wrecking Ball jumping in. And then you've got Josh there on the Genji just looking to clean up, get the dash resets. Hypnotic also looking to just jump on high priority targets. It is a very aggressive competition, but it can absolutely tear teams
Oh,
apart.
SJC backed into an ice wall. Yeah, the bio grenade over the top, saving the Wizard's life by putting a lot more focus onto the front line of the Sexy Cabbages. They've still got control of the high ground, and with Zildjian firing rockets in up above with little to no counter coming from Mutnik and the Space Dogs, they're going to be able to take first control of the point once they make their way on there.
Yeah, that is the area that it struggles the most. They're starting to see Zildjian just taking advantage of the fact that, I mean, the characters can't jump on it. You really want to be jumping on the DPS with this sort of composition, take out their ability to hurt you, and then clean up the rest of the team from there. And it can be very hard to do when the DPS is a Pharah and a Mei. Both, well, I mean, it's hard to jump on a Pharah, and Mei has a lot of survival tools. So between that, very hard to make it happen.
That she does, as the Space Dogs trying to find their way onto the point. They've got a nice opening. They've dropped Zaki down, but they lose two of their players in the process. Mikul not far behind. Sexy Cabbages on the point, holding on. They've got the tools with which to do it. Hinox in particular on the Mei, making entry so difficult.
Ooh.
Or exit in Josh's case.
Yeah, Josh just, in the end, sort of caught out a little late there, and that's going to be time off the clock there Sexy Cabbage is in control of this point, 50% towards the clock, and they're still struggling to find an opening here. And given the sort of defense that's being played here, I don't know if they can keep this up with what they've been running.
JC leaps on top with a nano boost in tow, has the primal rage at the ready for some extra survivability, bursts that out, bullying around Zaki. There's Reinhardt and Winston going at it, but Zaki charges away, not wanting to take the fight right into the Blizzard actually. Slows a few players down. Trades going back and forward, including Hypnotic picking up a triple. Mutnik's Space Dog's not out of this quite yet. They've got a few numbers remaining. They're able to clear off the remainder of the Sexy Cabbages. They might make some progress, but at the moment it's looking rough for them.
Yeah, they're just running back now, and it's going to be these run-back heroes that actually get it there. Space Dog's returning just a moment earlier is going to allow them to take it, but at 98%, they have the most tenuous of graphs on this point. They need to hold it the entire time now. A lot of potential for things to go sideways, especially when you consider the ultimates that their opponents have online for this next push.
Deary me. Both the tank ultimates are ready. SJC leaps in, looking to get some value, but a nice wall. The sleep is there. Hinox finishing the job. Proximity mines splitting up the members of Sexy Cabbage as they come in. They invest their tank ultimates, and to great effect, Zildjian, the barrage over the top just to finish off those two people. We'll see the point recaptured. 99, 100% is there. Overtime burning down. Hypnotic just touches the point. SJC could get there in time. Yes, the Winston leaping on, building up to that primal rage, not going to be building it up. The stragglers come in for Mutnik's Space Dogs. They need to make an impression, but the kills all falling the way of Sexy Cabbages. They're the defending team. They're in control, and the Blizzard will seal the deal as they take an early series lead, winning Nepal. Okay, Blizzard?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense, but the
That's all right.
Sexy
They're
Cabbages
like-
will...
The stars are like little X's anyway. It doesn't really hide anything.
No, we I suppose it doesn't at that. Sexy Cabbages putting on a great
Hypnotic.
performance there. I mean, I really like what I'm seeing from SJC on the Winston. They are putting in such an incredible performance there, but they need the rest of the team working around it a bit more if they want to get the results. It's really hard to run that comp into something like a Farah May. Sexy Cabbages absolutely exploiting it there. And we see them shut out a convincing Nepal village to take that first map. Which means we'll be heading over to our next map, which will be Rialto. So, I don't know how I feel about that one. I mean, it's a great potential for some incredible Winston play, and at the same time, you probably run into the same Farah May problems there as well.
Indeed, you will, but hopefully maybe the DPS will have something in the lineup. There's lots of long-range opportunities, especially on point A and a little bit on point B as well, that they might be able to take advantage of. Whip out the Ashe, whip out the Widowmaker, make a Farah's life a bit more difficult.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it really was a case that, that was just a free Farah, right? There was no pressure being applied to them whatsoever. They were just all the space in the world. And, when you've got a hero that is a high damage hero that is completely without pressure, I mean, that's sort of what you expect, right?
Indeed you do. As we load into the match, we'll be staying the same way around. Mutnik's Space Dogs and the Space Dogs on the right. Sexy Cabbage looking good on the left. And they will be defending first. And Zildjian hovering over the Ashe. We may see that come out.
I mean, Ashe has often been good on this map. You've got the sight lines, you can take advantage of the long range sight lines, but also those narrow chokes. You can stick some nasty dynamite in them. So definitely some spots where she gets in some great performance. And of course, if someone gets a little too close to the edge on those bridges, that's what the coach gun is for as well. So,
speaking of getting too close to the edges of the bridges, Mutnik and the Space Dogs, they're on attack, so take this with a grain of salt, but they look like they want to do a little remodeling of the defending team's positions.
Yeah, they're looking like the Orisa Hog there. It's an interesting, interesting position. I mean, I suppose it's not that too surprising considering Hog is a bit in favor at the moment. Orisa has long been the hero that pairs best with Hog, and I think we all know that all those main tank players just really looking forward to more Orisa. They definitely haven't been doing that for the last year, so...
Well, SJC definitely professing a love for Orisa in the chat, and it's good that we're seeing that because they're going to have to be stuck with that duty for the moment. Hypnotic, there you go, the long-range hit scan out for both sides. Hypnotic making impact almost immediately, and Hinox ready and waiting, bursts down the Widowmaker, great play. It's going to see the attack a little more difficult for the Space Dogs. And a Pyro Grenade on the defense though. Great job from Mutnik, the namesake of the team. Eventually though, gets burned down for their efforts.
Rez will be committed in there, but Zaki is coming forward, getting very aggressive on this. Hypnotic has gotten a late kill onto Zildjian, but they're sort of just getting corralled back into spawn from this big Reinhardt. It's just something that Reinhardts can do, so in the end, Space Dogs are going to have to back off and regroup. Now they're looking to push back forwards, get back control of the payload, and start their path forwards.
While that was going on, Hinox is looking to put some more pressure onto Hypnotic, but this time it is Zildjian doing the job. The Earthshatter goes down onto the bridge. Zaki, though, gets slept, not quite able to finish off Josh. As we see that, the tanks from the Sexy Cabbage, they move forward. They put so much pressure on Josh that Mercy Beam, the only thing keeping that Roadhog in the fight. Eventually able to get healed up, hooks in Zaki, who, oh dear, charges off the side of the bridge, not able to make the jump. This is the opening that the Space Dogs need. They've got the numbers advantage and no shield on the opposing team, no tanks even.
Yeah, it looks like the Bob is going to be committed in there as an emergency stall tank, just looking to buy some time, and Sergeant on the Valkyrie as well, just looking to stop the payload progress, buy time for the rest of the team to get back in there. You make the full use of that Moth, and well, I mean, it's succeeded. You have the defensive team back in position now. Kenzie rejoining, and Zildjian getting an early pick on the tin as well means it's a great opportunity for the Cabbages to come back forwards here.
Junkrat, not something you see every day on Rialto, but Josh with a hog pushing the defenders back, gets one kill for the efforts. But meanwhile, the DPS of the Sexy Cabbages doing enough work to keep the defense in the fight. They've reasserted presence on the cut. Now the Space Dogs are going to be hard pressed to get through here and finish point A.
Yeah, they're in a great position. They've got the better economy. They've got the positioning advantage. This is where we want it, stuck in this courtyard here. And we've only 90 seconds left on the clock. It's going to be pretty hard for the attackers to make it happen. That said, an early kill onto Hinox is a great gap in the defense, although the trade back onto 10 makes it even. Oh, Hypnotic.
Hypnotic lighting up the kill feed. 2 headshots in a row. Great flank from the Widowmaker, has broken this defense wide open. Gets pressured down a little bit by Hinox, but able to escape with their life. And we're seeing the cart pushing its way home. There will be some congestion here at the choke point. Oh, the pulse bomb takes Mikkel out of the fight. That might be the opening the defense needed. They're getting back onto the point. There's another bomb on the field. Zildjian built that up right quick as Tin removed it. Junkrat going down yet again. Both teams dancing around the cart. SJC being a constant, solid presence on the cart, but it's not enough. Mutnik and Hypnotic go down. They trade one back onto Hinox, but the defense is there. They've got all the space they need. Space Dogs need to reset ASAP.
Yeah, that's going to be really difficult for them to get onto this one, much less anything else. Oh, and an early kill. That's exactly
it's the same
what they
thing.
Need. But Zaki has this Earth Shatter, which means that it could be very easy to just catch people out there, especially if they're having to run in before their main tank. SJC over onto the Reinhardt. And yeah, we're just seeing people get picked off before the tank. There's the Shatter in
It
there.
lays down Josh, but the Roadhog, no one going there for the follow-up. A Graviton Surge now invested. Kenzie in the backside. The whole hog trying to force everyone away, but Josh will be killed almost immediately after ripping it out. Overtime burns down, and Sexy Cabbage stopped just shy of point A.
Yeah, what a great turnaround there. They've put in just an incredible defense there. And I've got whiplash from how back and forth all of that was. Because this is going to be a really strong defense. Oh, that's a big pick onto one of the defenders. Maybe it won't. And then in the end, the defense does hold. But, I mean, that was just...
Funnily enough, it was in the last two fights, it was Tin picking off
Yeah.
Hinox on the Tracer, Zildjian getting a kill onto Tin, and then the defenders coming back and holding that fight. This is the same thing repeated just at each point of the map. So Space Dogs, perhaps they might want to bring out something a little different, introduce some variance that doesn't allow Sexy Cabbage to... it doesn't allow Sexy Cabbage to keep rinsing and repeating the same attack or the same stratagems over and over again.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. And, well, they're going to be sitting up here. It looks like Tin will continue to play the Junkrat. And SJC on the Reinhardt is definitely going to be happier than SJC on the Orisa. But, I mean, Zaki plays a strong Reinhardt. You want to be the alpha tank. And any time you're in this sort of tank v tank matchup, you want to be the tank that inspires fear into their opponent. And definitely, as the Winston, SJC was able to do that. But on the run v run matchup, Zaki is looking really confident.
Well, if we're going to see a tank v tank matchup to decide who is the Lord of the server, I'm happy it's a Ryan v Ryan. Hinox, though, getting in onto Tin, taking some revenge, deciding not to be the first to fall in a fight thanks to the Junkrat. Again, follows up onto Mutnik. Hypnotic making so much space for the team. SJC under so much pressure right now has gone low. There's no barrier now available for the Space Dogs. Sexy Cabbage pushing forward uncontested at this point. A nice charge from Zaki. We'll see Josh move from the fight. Tin gone back in the fight, but that might be all said and done for this defense. It looks like Sexy Cabbage are going to push this uncontested.
Yeah, SJC back in on the Wrecking Ball, just looking to buy time, looking to stay alive and allow the rest of the team back into it. But, I mean, Zaki's
there's Shadow on the fridge.
Yeah, Zaki's not even interested in dealing with the Wrecking Ball, just going to use that space gaining ability of the main tank to just go up, keep everyone at bay. In the end, they get taken down for it in a 1v5, but they buy enough time so that payload gets across the finish line there. And so that will be Sexy Cabbages picking up this map and picking up this series.
Indeed, so it was a tight run race on the pole, but in the end showing off just how strong they are. And that attack was all down to the Doomfist play from Hypnotic, getting in with the two really early picks, blew that defense wide open, and from there it was just a matter of cleaning up the stragglers coming in. So fantastic work from that Doomfist, doing exactly what you want your Doomfist to do, picking up early kills, making space for your team.
Yeah, I mean, he's often described as a bit of a feast or famine hero. He can, he sort of treads the line between feeding and huge plays. But certainly the Doomfist we've seen tonight have been on the side of those huge plays. And Hinox definitely putting up the good numbers there, cracking open the defense of the Space Dogs. So great victory to the Sexy Cabbages and well earned.
Indeed, we'll look forward to seeing them go further in the tournament. Not only for the name, but the way they played. I definitely want to see more Zaki on the Reinhardt. And I mean, really, is there much more to... Speaking of Rialto specifically, is there much more to say? I mean, it was just a clinic, really a clinic in how to run Rialto. You get that rock-solid defense and then don't lose a single player on your attack. It doesn't get much better than that.
Absolutely not. So stick around with us. We're going to be going on a bit of a break. We will be back on the hour, so 20 minutes from now for the next match in the series. So go and take a bit of a break, get something to eat, and we'll see you back in about 20 minutes.
up with it? What's up with it? What's up with it? Yeah, with it.
Scrappy.
Yeah, what's up with it?
Scrappy.
Yeah, what's up with it?
That's a great May wall, though.
Yeah, blocks out the Deadeye. They're going to break a little bit through. Oh no, Myra slept. Still holding on to that Graviton Surge and Earth Shatter out.
Shiny Hero going down early is not a good start.
Oh yeah, this is backfiring instantly.
Taking out Temple. Oh, that's a big Diva Bomb.
Oh, great Graviton, and here comes Immortality! And of that Orisa, they're able to start moving the way forward.
Reflect, Amy took Goose out of the fight.
To take down Ghostly.
Taken down by good EMP there from the side.
Side of things, but he said no, and would no!
Blade does come through, cleans up Merrick, cleans up Don.
Kicks there as big ones, and Ghostly gets two. Remnant on all, that is a beautiful Zarya.
Doing a great job here. Deadeye as well to cover up a different angle.
Nigel gets 3! No, this is not happening!
It's 100%. He's close. Ghost. Lee will get 2.
Like they're gonna use losing I don't believe and 1 HP are your Ascent champions!
Welcome back, everyone, to the MyRepublic Rocket Cup, brought to you by Amateur Oceanic Esports. I'm Perennius. Joining me is Temporal, and we are back for the third round in this group stage. What an incredible performance we've had so far this evening.
Indeed, two teams have shown up big time. We've had some really nice close matches, and this match promises to be just as close. Both of these teams sitting on 2 wins. Oh, let's introduce the team. Sorry, this is Wiggles versus Monkey, and both of these teams are sitting on 2 wins apiece right now. The winner of this match will go to the top of the group, and given this is the final group round match, they will be the ones going forward in the tournament to the finals bracket. So everything on the line for these 2 teams.
Absolutely playing for their playoff hopes. This is going to be the big one for them. Once again, if you're just joining us a bit on the format, it will be a best of 3. So first to 2 wins. And we'll be starting on Lijiang Tower for round 3 as our control map. Then we'll be moving on to Junkertown as our escort. Hanamura will be the assault map if we have a 1-1 scoreline after Junkertown. And if that one ends in a tie, we'll be going to Oasis for the tiebreaker. All of these maps are set out by the tournament, and they change every round, so no opportunity for the teams to play into their preferred maps. We'll see how it unfolds here. Both of these teams pretty much ready to go, so we should be jumping into the game fairly shortly. And then, yeah, obviously a lot on the line for both of these teams here, as it could go either way. Both of them, as you were saying, 2 wins apiece. The winner of this will progress onwards to the finals, which will be a single elimination bracket moving towards our final grand prize.
And I'll be interested to see what kind of compositions the teams roll out on. Given they've only had that 1 match played each, they may have got past their opponent with something that's a little atypical, may not be the best composition, but with the limited sample size they have, they might not have an idea of what other teams are throwing at us. Like we've seen the last couple of matches, it's the team that's running in particular, a more symbiotic tank lineup with the shield up front, either the Winston or the Reinhardt, with the Zarya in support, has been the one that takes away each map. So I'm curious to see whether or not these teams have twigged to that, or given that the fact that they both won their only match that they've played so far, maybe that's what they started out with. They didn't bother with any of that Roadhog Zarya nonsense. And given what we're seeing from the teams almost immediately, that might just be the case.
Yeah, both of these teams locking in the Rhine Zarya. We're going to have a good old-fashioned biff on the point. I'm excited to see it. Both teams locking in the Symmetra as well, so both likely wanting to use that teleport to get out there quickly. We'll see if either of them stays on the sim, because we have seen... Yeah, okay, it looks like both of them looking to use it to teleport onto the point rather than using it to get that early lead. So that's a bit of a mirror roll out there.
The mirror comes off much better for the Wiggles. They get 2 kills almost immediately following onto that, including Clarky, the first one going down, saying, you know what, stop copying us. And with that, they'll take the first fight before the control point even unlocks.
Yeah, Wiggles not only getting there slightly faster, which gives them the advantage to react to their opponent coming in, but having that Doomfist there definitely allows for the quick impact to really upset the opening move. I mean, when you can get an opening pick that quickly on the Doomfist, it really can change things up. And speaking of changing things up, it's exactly what we see. Monkey moving over to their namesake, Fletcher over onto the Winston, and Clarky is taken to the skies on that Pharah as well. Already 65% towards the ultimate, so definitely getting some big rockets in already.
Long way there, may be able to pop in over the back. Oh no, Store tried to open up with the coalescence, but removed from the fight. Those rockets coming up. Big lazy Q falling not far behind, and Tao has the Deadeye. Doesn't need to get much value out of it. The damage is done. Monkey has control of the arena for the moment, and they'll be taking control of the point very short.
Yeah, 41% on the clock for the members of Wiggles, but Monkey in control here. And we're actually going to see Hyping Hugh move over to the Winston as well. And Jue moving on to the Genji. Later Q going to swap over to the McCree. So we see the adaptations coming through once they've lost the point from that initial setup composition.
Hyping Hugh, the bait in the trap, locks those, able to set up the Graviton Surge and lock the Monkey tanks in the Graviton Surge, but Clarky over the top with the barrage, able to clean things up and take a lot of pressure off the front line of Monkey, and it's gained them control of the point as they build up to where the Wiggles got to.
Yeah, they are looking to overpass that one now, and Grav still in the tank as well. Superior Man has the tank, has the Grav online, has the Grav online. They don't really have a follow-up ultimate to dump into that as well, but given the sort of composition they're up against, they kind of don't need it. They can just really get in there with the Winston Lightning Gun, with the rockets, and probably rein in the damage without needing to commit another ultimate. They might decide to save up, try and get Clarky's barrage online as well, given how quickly Clarky has been getting that ultimate.
Nice spotting from Fletcher. Sees Lazy Q is on their own. Jumps in, gets the kill onto the Ash, but it's taken down for the efforts. Icarus finishing off the job there, and now it's very back and forth, up on the high ground, down on the low ground. Combat Wombat somehow sitting on top of that ledge, caught out a little bit. Another Graviton Surge invested, this time by Superior Man, who proves the superior Zarya. The Graviton Surge finding so much value as Monkey build up to past 90%. They're in control, and Wiggles will have a difficult time touching at this rate.
Yeah, they've really got to commit into it, and maybe the Genji's going to get there. It looks like, yeah, they will get the
Nano Boost and Winston too.
Yeah, Nano Winston on the point is a good way to hold that ground. They managed to take down a couple of people here now, and Clucky over the top looking to trade things back.
Ju was so low for so long with the Boulder Grenade, did not quite get the value they were looking for, and Monkey snap back. They're not content to give this one away so easily. With the Bob coming out onto the field, it's from Wiggles, it's too little too late. He was, he's just off.
He's not on the point, okay.
Okay, taking a seat on the side, saying, you know what, I'm going to let the humans sort this one out. That's a little unfortunate for Wiggles.
I mean, ultimately, that's a high damage Zarya that's also being pocketed, so high charge Zarya rather that's also being pocketed. So I mean, Bob's days were reasonably numbered anyways. I don't know if they'd be able to get anyone back onto the point in time, but regardless, it is a bit unfortunate that apparently that area doesn't count as being on the point. If you're right up against that wall, good to know, I suppose.
I mean, he's quite a big Omnic too. You think some part of him is hovering over the point. I guess it's not like offside in soccer, football, whatever you call it. It's your feet that have to be behind the line. But we're moving on to Control Center now. Both teams going back to those Reinhardt fronted compositions.
Yeah, perhaps not too surprising here in Control Center. Interesting to see the Junkrat coming out from Jue, and he's managed to pick up Fletcher in the trap. Just really aggressive trap placement there, which worked out. Clarky getting really well.
What a fire strike from Fletcher! Actually countered by a nice fire strike from Hyping, who follows up onto the Reinhardt themselves. Fletcher out of the fight, and in the end, it will be Wiggles coming up with first control.
Yeah, I mean, it was such a great one, but in the end, Dorks can't 1v3 against the remainder of the team. Has to back away on that McCree, but the re-contest is coming through hard and fast. Both teams are going to be fully back. Lazy Q getting the better of his counterpart, though. And there goes Clarky as well. Cynic on this McCree. That's going to signal the retreat here as Monkey back to spawn.
Smart play from Monkey, though. They know they're out of it. Okay, not quite out of it yet. Fletcher caught out by the Earth Shatter. Hyping Hugh laying that one down, showing that Reinhardt exactly who is boss.
Oh, I love it. I love that sort of aggressive Reinhardt play. You just jump in to get in behind that shield, lay someone out. It puts the fear into your opposing Reinhardt.
Oh, the counter Shatter is good. Hyping not able to block it. They push in, but no one quite able to get any follow-up kills. Graviton Surge now onto Monkey as they push their way to the door. The Immortality Field combined with the Sound Barrier, keeping them alive. A counter Sound Barrier invested by Wiggles as Monkey make their way onto the point, and it's given enough time for the damage to come through. Half of Monkey down, followed by Arrow. Oh, Superior, so low, yet so far away from making an impact. Wiggles up to 70%.
Yeah, we're heading into last fight territory. Oh, that's amazing. Sent back to spawn. That's time they don't have being bled off the clock. It is now definitely going to be the last fight here. And all of this spam damage just being thrown through from the Junkrat. When we've got Junkrats on both teams here, it is just nasty to look at. We're at 90%. The Deadeye coming out is to, again, force them back. They're going to struggle to get to this point, and there's a real risk that if they don't take it carefully, they're going to get torn apart.
Here comes the Riptide from Clarky, looking for some value. Gets on the high ground, but still able to fade out of it. It's enough to see Icarus out of the fight. There you go, the Junkrat following up onto the Moira in the end, taking the kill. As Monkey marches onto the point, they've got enough kills. Lazy Q and Ju having something to say about that, but in the end, they will fall as Monkey gain first control of the point in overtime.
Yeah, well, apes together strong, they say, but there's a lot of ultimates online here for the Wiggles as they look to take this one back. Really just pushing up really aggressively, and that's just
oh, what an Earth Shatter. Superior Man saved by the Sound Barrier of Arrow. The counter Shatter comes out from High Ping Hughes. Not going to, sorry, it came out from Fletcher, not going to find much, and the DPS from Monkey collapse all over Wiggles. They're holding on to the point for the moment. They need to keep up this run.
I'm still not over that Shatter from Hyping Q. He just walked up and dropped that on Superior Man Zarya there. There was just no hesitation. It is I'm really loving this Reinhardt play. It's been so long. This is where I need it to be.
A Riptide now out from Zhu. Looking for some value on the stage, but the Reinhardt plus the Cryo Freeze keeping those players alive. Clarky's tire, not long for this world. Laser Q finishing that one off. Hyping you trapped between a wall, and another wall. Oh, and then the Graviton just add injury to insult, but kept alive for the moment. It's actually Wiggles coming up with the kills. That is phenomenal support play coming out of Stora and Mythres. They kept their players alive, and they didn't even have to use their ultimates to do it. And now as we go into a pause, they're marching onto the point. They've got the numbers. They can flip it back, and Monkey's not going to have anyone close enough to touch.
Yeah, this is looking like it should be going the way of the Wiggles here, which would even up this series. So we could be going on to a third round here. We'd be heading over to the Gardens most likely. But we just have to get through the pause. It looks like we're heading back in now. And yeah, it is just a matter of quick cleanup here. Wiggles will take control of the point. No one's going to be able to get in and get the touch. So we will be heading over to Lijiang Gardens for our final stage of this one. But this is already shaking up to be such a great game. What I'm really interested in is, do the teams roll out with the Reinhardt Sims again? Or do we see people going straight onto the Winston considering the map?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to see a Winston, nor would I be surprised to see Clarky over again onto the Farah. They whipped it out on market, and Gardens is the much more popular map for Farah here in Lijiang Tower, so there won't be much surprises there. Actually, yeah, you're right. Both teams popped out the Winston on market, so it wouldn't be surprising either way, but it looks like only Fletcher will be going on that. Wiggles opting more for that Reinhardt-based composition with the Symmetra teleport to get them to the point.
Yeah, so the sim rollout coming in through from Wiggles. I mean, and they've got control of the point straight away. Well, Monkey having to play into that one there. It's a bit of a rough position to be in because their composition doesn't play well onto taking control of the point there. It's really hard to attack the point as Farah. Especially once that point starts getting turreted up from the Symmetra as well.
What a fire grenade!
They need.
Arl opening up. Fantastic play from the Ana. They're leading the way for the team. Superior Man follows up with 3 final blows in the fight, but that bio grenade is what seals the deal for Monkey.
Yep, it's a really great opening. Just as I'm talking about how hard it is to do it, that's exactly what they do. They break in the door, clean it up. Now Clarky has the barrage. Expect that over the top being damage boosted, so that could be very dangerous to play in. There's no Diva to catch those rockets either, so you're gonna have to try and save the sleep for that one.
There is the barrage over the top. Icarus falling afoul of that. Nice dynamite from Lazy Q. They've got Combat Wombat going to be bringing that fire right back into the fight.
Yeah, and the chase is on as well, trying to clean up that Ana. Yeah, Lazy Q will get picked up there on the exit as well. That's going to buy yet more time here, so Monkey really holding on to this point. Up to 43%. Okay, the res actually going to be invested on Lazy Q. It seems like a really late res at this point, but
well, we'll leave it up to the professional support players to make the decisions, and there you go. It's paid dividends already. Gets Clarky down. The lead from Hyperhue not quite enough to deny the resurrection, but it has invested. Yeah, Nanovisor, I haven't seen that in a good long while. Mithras didn't see it coming either, gets melted down, as does Lazy Q. So Wiggles tried to make the way in, but the Monkey has the answers.
yeah, they really do. I'm liking what we're seeing from them here. They've been, of the two teams, the one that's really shown a lot of different adaptations so far. And they haven't hesitated to swap over when they've needed to. Another good opening pick there onto Clarky. Lazy Q really showing that they are absolutely a threat on this Ashe.
Oh, hyping Hugh. Goes low, gets bonated, gets back onto the point, has the nano boost just to keep them alive. A Graviton Surge invested as hyping Hugh picks up too. The Graviton is good. Monkey cleaned off the point. Wiggles are not out of this yet.
No, absolutely not. But they did invest a lot of resources. I mean, both teams invested a lot, however, so it's not all over yet. You just have to worry about Superior Man's grab. That could be absolutely devastating. You see some changes as Dorks and... Should have asked how that one's pronounced. But moving over to the Ashe, nonetheless, should be a big opportunity there. Now we have the dive coming in from Fletcher, looking to aggress, take some space. The counter dive is there.
Oh, the Graviton Surge and the long-range barrage combines to take out 2. Zhu has a counter barrage taken down. Very messy from both teams, but at the moment, it's Wiggles with the player advantage, still holding on to the point. But who needs to get out before they get burned down?
Yeah, the Primal there and the Bob on the field. The combination of the Primal Monkey and Lazy Q's Bob really denied anywhere you could safely go from the members of Monkey. So they managed to get pincered in on that fight. Heavy investment, but both teams are heavily invested in ultimates. So you're not going to end up in a bad spot there. Here comes the counterplay from Monkey, though.
Yeah, Fletcher has the nano boost. Doesn't quite have the primal yet, but we're building that up very quick. Arl goes down. Zhu saying, thanks for the nano boost again so long. Now knocks Fletcher off the edge. Monkey didn't have the leap available. Clarky and Doe coming back. Blimey, these hits, these DPS players move over to the hit scan and make an immediate impact. It is Monkey flipping the point back, 99% overtime, burning down. That will be it for them. Monkey take an early lead in this series. They are one map away from our playoffs.
Absolutely, they just need one more, and they are through.
Play of the game.
It's looking really good for them there, but both of these teams putting on a great performance here on Lijiang. Wiggles showing that they are no slouches. It was no accident that they also have the opportunity to make it through. And just some really good tank play, some really good DPS play. I'm liking what we're seeing. The previous two matches, the first one was very DPS heavy, the second one was very tank heavy. This was a nice balance, both the DPS and tanks putting in a lot of work to make it happen. So I'm really liking this one so far. I'm interested to see where it goes as we move over to Junkertown.
And the Annas both making quite an impact. In particular, I'm liking what we're seeing out of Arl. that bio grenade at the start of Gardens to completely open it up. That's what got Monkey's capture progress started in the first place, and then a couple of great nano boosts along the way to help teammates out when they needed it. Just some phenomenal Ana play from them. I'm looking forward to seeing them going forward in this series and potentially in the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've seen a lot of great Ana play all evening from them. It's such a crucial role. Seems to be such an important hero in what the current meta is. We're seeing it's a bit of an interesting one because it's the first time in a while. Like the game for such a long time really relied on those big crutch support ultimates that can really bail a team out of a problem. Your transcendences and your sound barriers. And we're moving into an area where you just don't have those. And I think people got used to it with Baptiste because Baptiste had his own tool in the immortality field. But now Baptiste is on the bench as well. And we're just finding teams that are just really needing the extra utility more than those big invulnerable ults. And it's meant that you have this really important Ana position where there's all of that utility. She's always had such a powerful kit. But there's no defensive tools to help keep her alive, so you just need to keep her alive. And as a result, we're seeing people really hunting for her as well. And it really comes down to, can you keep your Ana alive long enough to win the fight, or not? And yeah, the team that can, oddly enough, kill the enemy Ana before they have any impact in the fight, you're in a great spot to clean up the rest of the fight. Feels a bit obvious, but I guess that's how it be.
And it shows you just how good of an Ana Aral is that Clark is on the Pharah, which means your friendly support Combat Wombat is just following the Pharah into the sky. Yeah, occasionally a Mercy can dip down to the ground, but most of the time, as the Ana in this situation, you're solo healing. And the amount of impact that Aral's having and staying alive is what's giving Monkey the edge so far.
Absolutely. Now we're on to Junkertown. We see, again, Hyping Hugh on the Winston, Fletcher playing the Reinhardt. Another asymmetrical tank matchup here. Lazy Q with that Widowmaker, trying to put the long-range pressure on. It's going to mean that shield is going to have to be held up a lot of the time, just to prevent teammates from getting picked off there.
Oh, Hyping Hugh going low as he's stalled. The Winston trying to get away, but a great bio grenade. And having to retreat, which gives so much more progress over to Monkey. Oh, the Winston's so low. In the end, it will be Fletcher's hammer finishing that one off. Lazy Q gets one back onto Aral, finally taking that pesky Ana out of the fight, but another kill onto the Widowmaker. Will be entered in turn by Dow, so very back and forward from both teams. Resurrection comes out from Combat Wolf to give the attackers the numbers. Now they just need to clean off before any reinforcements can make their way back. Speaking of reinforcements, Hyping Q is back in the fight, building up towards that Palmer Rage, but still 40% away. We're having DPS and a support there to help out, make the difference and give Wiggles what they need. Stay on the point as Hyping Q finally goes down. See Mithras able to make their way back with the Transcendence in tow, could provide a lot more stall. There it is. It's invested on the cart, so a lot of time being burnt off for Wiggles in what should have potentially been a losing fight to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of an interesting one because Clarky is putting a lot of pressure out on that Soldier on a map that normally wouldn't really be favoring Soldier, especially on attack. But once Lazy Q was able to make it back on that Widowmaker and again start just dropping heads, it really shows that, I mean, having a Widowmaker turn up late into a chaotic fight like that just means that there's going to be targets and opportunities. We're not going to be lined up behind cover or behind shields. And
that's such a good grab. Combat Wombat, though, with the help of a biotech grenade from Arrow, going to keep most of the members of Monkey alive. They lose to Icarus, churning through the high charge, putting out so much damage, building up to their next grab.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking pretty good here for the Wiggles. They've got this point on lock so far, and there's still no real answer to Lazy Q on the Widowmaker there. Just putting out these long-range shots, it just forces the Reinhardt Fletcher to be holding up that shield the whole time.
Tactical Visor around the side, shut down immediately. A Bob on the field. This is the fight where Monkey was looking to use all their ultimates, but they've already thrown one into the Endless Void, and Earthshatter goes and lays 3 down. It's huge. Can there be any follow-up? Yes. Mithras and Icarus go down. The Dragon Blade out from Zhu, caught in a Graviton Surge. Superior Man was ready for that Genji, but not ready for the Genji to be unleashed once the gravity wore off. Kills going either way, but in the end, it is the lone Genji left for the defense. We're seeing Clarky, the Widowmaker, on the cart. You don't see that every day, ladies and gentlemen, but it's making the difference so far as reinforcements are rushing back for both teams, but with Wiggles getting back first. Well, as I talk through the entire middle of the fight, sorry there, Peronius. The next fight getting underway. Zhu, nice reflected Fire Strike onto Aryl, takes down the Ash as well. Another Transcendence there for Mithras. It proved so vital last fight to hold on. It does buy a little bit more time again, as we see Monkey backing off for now.
Yeah, they need to regroup here. I like the decision not to commit. It was dicey. You've not got time left. You can't afford to throw it away. They're going to regroup. They're going to come back. It's going to be a 6v6 fight. They do have the Nano online, but where will they? Okay, they're going to put that onto Fletcher. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all, but Lazy 2 taking down Clarky means there's still a Widowmaker at large, and they are putting in the damage.
Oh, you can't count Monkey out of this yet. A great Earthshatter from Fletcher, keeping hyping Hugh, that primal raging Winston, out of the fight for the moment. They're able to link back in. Yeah, the Rockets taking out Lazy Q. Oh, dearie me. Finally, someone stops the Widowmaker, and now it's just the supports left on the cart. Zhu's back with the Dragon Blade, whips it out, dashes through, trying to put in as much damage as they can. Only finds Combat Wombat, and in the end, Monkey will finally get the cart completed on point A.
Yeah, I'm wondering if Chewie is going to be swapping off the Genji now, because that was a very optimistic Dragon Blade to be pulling in. Doesn't look like it. Maybe it is just the Genji player that thinks they can pull out their blade and win back the unwinnable fight. And push comes to shove, a lot of the time that just isn't viable anymore. Maybe a couple of years ago, not so much anymore. And with that, oh, it's a nice grab in though.
Interesting grab. It's on the cart, so it locks everyone there. Whoa, that bio grenade over the top from both teams. But in the end, it's Wiggles able to take better advantage. There you go, the dash resets finally working out for Zhu. The Genji showing up big.
Yeah, I guess already 70% towards the next blade, so it's hard to be too annoyed at them for throwing away that last one, given how quickly they have been getting them. But the fact that there was a nice grab there that had everyone all grouped up there certainly helps for that.
Hyping Hugh, taking the fight on the cart, knows they have the primal rage ready. If they get burnt down, get slapped, immediately woken up. Oh no, had Fletcher cornered in the corner, but I mean, the rest of Monkey was there to support the Reinhardt. That's going to see the two big playmakers from Wiggles going down on the high ground with the tactical fires and making sure no one on the defense can get anywhere near the carton. That point A attack, not so good, but this time it looks like Monkey is picked up. As they go into the end of point B, they've still got time on the clock.
Yeah, they got a lot of momentum coming through here, and it's gonna get through there without losing all the time, as you say. 2 minutes 10 on the clock as we move into the final stage. They're gonna be moving forwards here as well, looking to take up as much space as they can. Lazy Q swapped over to the Doomfist. Definitely the terrain in here to make advantage of that. And there's another Nano Blade available as well. We could see that being committed in early. Mithras has also swapped over to the Baptiste, so that does give them a few extra interesting tools here.
Hyping. So much pressure on the Winston. Was half health when they dropped down there. Maybe a little misplay coming out from the Winston, so it leaves the defenders without their big defensive shield for the moment.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was going on there, but as you say, it did look like maybe it was a mistake to drop down there. I thought they were trying to get out, and then they dropped in on the enemy team. Icarus picking up an early kill onto Aryl, though, is exactly what the defense needs to turn this fight around.
It's given Hyping Hugh the chance to come out. Combat Wombat goes down. No support there for the attackers at the moment. They're going to be forced back as Hyping Hugh and Lazy Q, they make certain that the Monkey know where they should be going, and that is back to spawn.
Yeah, back to spawn, but they are charging up 4 ultimates, soon to be 6 in the tank here. They have a minute left on the clock. They could absolutely end this one out if they use them right. I imagine we're probably going to be seeing another Nano Visor, but before
Here
that...
comes the Nano Blade, sweeps through, no more Nano Boost. Arrow out of the fight. The Graviton Surge invested just to lock down the Genji, but Superior Man throws it away. Lazy Q finishing up with a lazy 4K. That will see Wiggles holding on as Monkey's time bank burns down to the dregs.
Yeah, I like the grab as a counter to a Nano Blade, but you do have to actually hit the Genji with it. Otherwise, well, it doesn't work out as we just saw. Bit unfortunate there. Clarky now going to be going over to the Tracer here.
As a counter grab onto the attacking team is going to force out an early sound barrier from Combat Wombat. Goes low, has it almost immediately stripped away. Dow's Tactical Visor on the high ground, not finding any value. Icarus and Zhu combining to deal with the Soldier. Now the progress has moved over towards the cart. Overtime being triggered. Monkey can't lead the cart 1 second. But the Wiggles know that. They're happy to take the fight right here in front of their own spawn. They've got the numbers, they've got the respawn advantage if required. Trades going back and forth either way. Fletcher traded out for Mithras, not really favoring either team as yet, but there is a Primal Raging high ping Hugh. Proximity Bomb finds nothing, but Zhu's Dragon Blade ends up proving the decisive factor as Wiggles stop Monkey right in front of point C, 87 meters into the objective.
Yeah, great performance there coming through in the end. I mean, there was very nearly fully held at the first, so they did deserve to be able to stop that one up after such a good point A defense, but still a lot of progress being made as well. I'm interested to see how this next phase will unfold. It looks like we might be seeing Lazy Q out on the Widow again. This has very long been a Widow-favored map, but Dewey on the Bastion means like we might be taking a trip back to the old pirate ship days. I thought that was out of vogue, but we might be seeing it here again.
No, given the rest of the team composition, I think that might be happening.
Yeah, absolutely. It does look like they're setting up for it. And I don't know if the defense is going to be ready for this one. I mean, they've got a double shield of their own with Superior Man over onto the Sigma. And Sigma definitely does have some tools if they can get it through those shields in the first place. But Clarky on the Torb, until you can actually get... I mean, it's not a terrible one for disrupting a pirate ship, but you have to get the ultimate online to do it. And that might be a hard one to do.
And the question is, when they get the ultimate online, have they already given up point A to do it? Because at that point, we've seen the attacking team be happy to change off the Bastion.
That is the question. I mean, there are a couple of nasty spots you can set up the turret to have them firing behind, but it doesn't really look like that's what's happened here. So, I mean, the turret's already out of play.
Oh, Lazy Q finding those to get this attack started. Monkey already on the back foot, less than 30 seconds into the round.
Yeah, I mean, it's rough. It's rough. Like, pirate ship is not
Actually,
easy
they're
to
taking the
fight
fight. Sorry, they're taking the fight right to the Bastion Zhu. The Immortality Field, the only thing keeping the Bastion into the fight. But once that's gone, so is the Bastion. Great counterplay by Monkey here on the defense. They know exactly how to deal with the pirate ship.
Yeah, this is definitely the engagement point, but it does look like they're being whittled down. They've spent a lot of resources to make it happen. Meanwhile, the res has been invested to get that Bastion up as well. Bastion now looking to just get set up behind the car.
Oh, the grab flux!
In there.
Picks up the tanks, takes care of Superior Man. Hyping Q answered in kind of Fletcher charges down the Bastion. Get off that bloody hero, says the Reinhardt. Please, we don't want to see it anymore. A little bit of PTSD maybe for Reinhardt from his cinematic.
Maybe so. This is not a clean fight for either team. It looks like the Wheels might be able to win this one out on attrition. We have a res coming through, but as I say that, Shatter invested, which does not get much done with it.
Oh, and Zhu's off the...
will be getting through this.
Then Zhu off the Bastion back onto their favourite Genji. Looks like full steam ahead for the Wiggles, even though they're not exactly a pirate ship anymore. They're just a commercial trading vessel.
That is true.
Well, okay, Monkey's not giving this up without a fight. They charge out, but he is into that wall of damage provided by that ultimate. Fletcher takes care of it. but in the end, the damage is done. Wheels are going to be getting point A.
Yeah, and I think mostly that was because Clarky was sort of stuck behind the team, and maybe they could have pincered it in there. They commit the Molten Core there. I'm expecting Clarky to swap off, and yeah, there it is. Clarky will be moving over to the Junkrat.
Hey, the Aussie on the Aussie map. Finally.
It has been known to happen, but not often. Definitely not the most common pick. And a lot of opportunity for space here from the attackers, but they're not really pushing forward to take it yet. Defense still not quite all in place, waiting for Clarky to make it back. Now, Clarky's actually moved over to the Tracer, so they will be around shortly to provide that threat.
They got the swap, which just to please me, really, as Lazy Q taking the fight right to Dows, and there's a Griddick Flux lifting up multiple members of the defense, slams them down, no direct kills off the back of that, but enough damage is done. The Icarus able to follow up onto Combat Wombat. This cart showing no signs of slowing down just yet, and Wiggles have so many more tools to work with.
Absolutely, they are just running roughshod all over this fight. Monkey just having to back up here, back to the drawing board. I mean, I don't know if you really worry about going for any adaptations here, because you're about to be going into the third point anyways. They are going to be committing the grab function. They've grabbed the Mercy with it.
Oh, they're so good. It lays down two. Icarus falls immediately after the Bob on the field to counter from Laser Q gets one, but in the end, they re-engage from Monkey is good. They're holding the cart near the end of point B.
It's a really powerful place to hold it as well. It can be really hard to dislodge a defense from here if they're able to get a good one up. And they're in a position that maybe, just maybe, they are able to get a good one up. Clarky has the potential to slip in and pulse bomb someone while the attackers are trying to set up again. And you've had the Nano get decoupled from the blade, so Dewey doesn't have a Nano to go with that blade as well. I mean, this is potentially a really good position. If the defense can win this next fight, they're going to have a lot of momentum.
There you go, there's a massive amount of healing coming out. Keeps Fletcher in the fight later in the Earth Shatter, but not able to make their way forward. High Pink Q with the heroic efforts using the Primal Rage to keep back Ryan Hunters. Oh no, was slept, making them easy pickings for the Deadeye Superior Man. Follows up onto Zhu. Again, Wiggles sent packing, but thanks to that point A attack, Peronius, they've still got plenty of time left in the clock.
Yeah, they've got plenty of time to try and work this one down. It's just going to take a bit of effort here. They have at least managed to make it expensive for the defense. So we're seeing Fletcher and Clarky investing ultimates into this one. Meanwhile, they're just sort of banking up ultimates of their own. Hyping Hugh using the Primal is not really a big deal for them. They're trying to build up towards their win condition. They're going for the Electric Cowboy.
Nano boosted Superior Man of all things. So yeah, Lazy Q's Electric Cowboy. No, that was just a regular Cowboy, sorry, over the top. Takes care of the Nano boosted Sigma of all things. That might have been a little misclick. And Fletcher going down, no tank presence of any kind for the defense. The Resurrection onto Stowe. We'll see Wiggles with a large player advantage as they get the cut around the final bend. They're going to be attacking point C.
Yeah, that's all they need to get into the final stage. But 2.5 minutes, I mean, it's about the same amount of time for this third point. So things have definitely evened out here. Could go either way as we make it into here. Both teams about similar positions in ult economy as well. Superior Man has their Gravitic Flux online, and that could be absolutely huge because, oh, well, I mean, Lazy
High Pink Q!
Absolutely what you want.
Oh, and a great Bio Grenade on the High Pink Hue. The Winston was looking for their Primal Rage. Oh, so close, but the Bio Grenade prevented the Monkey from getting away. Well, what? Mythres with the res! And Icarus following up onto Arrel. All of a sudden, Wiggles turning this one around. Deadeye's on both sides. Zhu reflects it, takes Toes down. Immediately follows up onto Clarky. Lazy Q finding one in the middle of that fight. Wiggles turning it around. Holy cow, a minute 30 on the clock and they've just got the final turn to go.
Yeah, that was definitely a comeback there, and the resources that they baited out as well with that. Lazy Q still has a Deadeye of their own. And more importantly, they've got a grab. They might just be able to grab the defenders off the point. Looks like they're set up to do just that. Icarus hiding in a spot, coming around. There's the grab.
Onto the back line, keeps them out of the way. The Bio Grenade over the top, sealing the deal from Store. The Earth Shatter late from Fletcher, has the Nano Boost, trying to even the odds, gets two. But the numbers. Oh no, the Run Hut wasn't able to make it back. Wiggles take out the map, and they're going to see us through to a map 3. This is going down to the wire.
It certainly is, but as we said before, high stakes between these two teams. The winner of this one will be going through into the finals. The loser of it, unfortunately, will be finishing up their journey tonight. So this is absolutely the moment to let it all out. And that is what we're seeing here. Both of these teams not willing to give it up easily. It's just been back and forth between these two.
The heroics there from Zhu. I mean, Wiggles were out of that fight. Most teams would probably sit back and think, nah, we'll reset. We've got time on the clock for 1, maybe 2 pushes. But Zhu stares it down. The McCree says, I got deflect. Once Toes was out of the fight, it was all guns blazing for the attacking team. They marched the cart through, and it's been so good.
Yeah, absolutely. With Jockatown out of the way, we'll be heading over to Hanamura, but before that, we'll be taking a quick 2-minute break, so don't go anywhere because it is all on the line here for these teams.
Yeah, what's up with it?
Welcome back, everybody, to this round 3 matchup between the Wiggles and Monkey. We have been, well, watching this series with great anticipation. The winner of this one will be going through into our finals. The scoreline is 1 apiece, which means it's all down to Hanamura here to see which of these teams goes the way. I'm Peronius, and if you're just joining us, and my co-caster today is Temporal. We'll be bringing you this as well as the rest of the action this evening for the MyRepublic Rocket Cup.
And we could well be seeing one of these two teams going forward in the competition. I mean, obviously, we'll see both of the teams that make the grand final, and they're both putting on a great show. Definitely finals worthy from either team. And if you're the side of Monkey, you'd be leaning in to that play that you're seeing out, particularly. If you're the side of Wiggles, you definitely want to be leaning into that play you're seeing out of Zhu. Their Genji has been electric. I mean, that's not a nano boost pun. They don't need the nano boost to get the job done. It's been phenomenal to see. And for Monkey, maybe that's the key to the victory here. You've got to make sure the Genji isn't getting as much value as they are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've been seeing Hyping Hugh favoring the Winston there, working together with their Genji. Fletcher seems to prefer the Reinhardt, but here on Hanamura, looks like they're going to be playing the Winston as well. It's going to be them working with Clarky, who I don't think we've seen on the Genji just yet. And Daunt will be reprising their role on the Ashe. They've been putting out some pretty good numbers on that. So they'll be looking to keep that one up as well as we move over here to Assault.
It's interestingly, we look at the compositions, and this is kind of what we expect the Overwatch League playoffs to be. So I expect some good synergy out from these teams. Yeah, they may not know each other very well, given they've all only met today, but these are heroes with they work really effectively together, and as long as you've got players on them that know how to play the hero, it could pay off for them.
Absolutely, and here we're going to be seeing a bit of an interesting one, because when you've got this sort of split dive, an early kill onto Fletcher means that's going to be over pretty quick.
Oh, Combat got the res.
But even then, I think the damage is done. We see Superior Man going down as well, so I think they need to back off and not risk losing someone else here to the defense until they're ready to push in, because they are not in a position to attack.
No, they're not hyping Hugh, waiting in the wings. Anyone to poke their head around, build up a little more ult charge with that Tesla cannon. Oh, getting aggressive, not willing to wait after all. See Clarky popping in some shots onto the point, the support line. For the defenders, need to be a bit wary of that way to make it. Hyping Hugh goes down, getting perhaps a little too aggressive. Daunt taking care of business there, following up onto Store. That's a great 2K from the Ashe. Break this defense wide open. Execute gets on back onto Arrow, but the rest of the dominoes are falling. Monkey moving on to the point, making progress.
Yeah, Clarky swapping over to the Widow there changes the game completely. Able to catch people out in the open, put a huge amount of damage onto the table. It's going to see them pick up that first point. They've got a fair bit of momentum coming into the second one as well. They don't have a lot of ultimates online other than the Valkyrie, but they are soon to have a lot online. That said, Lazy Q got enough done that there is a Bob online, and Bob is a wonderful anti-snowball tool.
As long as you put him on the point.
True.
Sometimes he likes to stand off to the side, not really do anything. Oh, that's a nice buy grenade. Both the tanks from Wiggles hit with that. They're forced to back off and give up the high ground to Monkey. Fletcher was slept in the middle of Primal Rage, but the rest of the team there providing plenty of protection. There's Bob, both of them sitting on the point. So one is contesting the point, the other is also contesting the point. They're plugging away at each other. We'll see which Bob is superior. It turns out one of them is just going to jump away as the rest of the defense. The Wiggles fall all over their Monkey as they make their way onto the point. They don't give up any ticks in progress either.
Yeah, it's a good hold there for the Wiggles. They're going to be in a great position going forwards. They've still got a fair few tools as well. They're going to have the Nano Blade there to stop up the next attack as well. So this is looking pretty good for them, but a late kill onto Clarky going to be buying yet more time off the clock. This is what Monkey need to worry about, because they're already coming into a Nano Blade for the next fight. They sort of need to accept that that's going to probably be a clean loss on their part, and play to wear down these resources. Clarky now investing.
Oh, that was a nice dynamite. It actually forced Mithras into the middle of the high ground to try and heal, and the Infrasites identified exactly where the Mercy was hiding. We saw Fletcher go right after that, and the numbers are falling now in Monkey's favor. Zhu, though, has an answer. The Dragon Blade invested was buy grenade. It gets two. It might just be the difference maker. Monkey on the point. They've got two ticks captured already, but the Dragon Blade might prove enough for Wiggles to get the reinforcements they need out. There's no kills really falling either way, and that's always going to favor the defenders. They'll be back a lot quicker. They'll have the numbers, and well, Fletcher has something to say about that. The Primal Rage finally finishing off High Ping Hugh. Zhu going down, so Monkey, they're not quite out of this yet. They're back in the fight. Lazy Q return, picking off Clarky, but Icarus and Stooge going down from Daunt. Hyping Hugh now out on the Wrecking Ball, gets buy grenaded, immediately sent back to spawn in the end. Monkey will hold on and capture the point, leaving 3 minutes left in their time bank.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and take that one back then. I mean, I think it really did come down to the sights. Like they played out really well, as you say. They forced the Mercy into an awkward position, took her out. They picked up 3 kills before the fight had begun. So it didn't matter then that Duo was able to get 2 back with the Nano Blade because the damage was already done. Half the team was already missing, and it means it's so easy to just focus fire on the remaining members. Even then, it becomes a bit of a brawl. That just goes to show that there really was old economy in favor of the Wiggles. But I mean, when you lose 3 people at the start of a fight, old economy sort of goes out the window when it comes to advantages. And Monkey able to grind that one out. 3 minutes left on the clock is a very respectable time for Hanamura.
It's fantastic, and it sets you up for success. All you need to do is stop the opposing team from completing Hanamura. You take yourselves through to the final. So Monkey, everything will be riding on their shoulders for the moment. A good attack from Wiggles will see us going to extra rounds and open up the opportunity again for a draw, extending this match out even further.
Yeah, I mean, it could definitely happen. It's going to, if it does, everyone will be watching it because it will, you know, basically hold up any finals. Everyone will have no choice but to watch the progress of this one going forwards. Ooh, Icarus not able to get the charge there. That's just going to be some free ult charge for Daunt instead. Timing slightly off on that bubble, but nothing to do with Lazy Q taking out Clarky. That is a big opening.
And then a nice follow-up from Hyping Q, clearing off the high ground. Zhu follows up onto Daunt as Clarky is brought back into the fight. So some space made for the side of Wiggles. They're inside the gate. They're on the point, though. Hyping Q going down to a nice fire strike from Fletcher. We'll see the attacking team backing off for the moment with no capture progress gained.
They look like they might be going to commit into this one. It is a 4v3 fight at the moment, so they've got the opportunity.
That's a nice bio grenade. Superior Man and Fletcher both going down in quick succession. We'll see Wiggles taking position on the point, taking it out. They've got 3 minutes left on the clock, plus the additional 4 minutes they're granted, or 3 minutes they're granted. They're in good stead to finish out the map.
Yeah, I mean, the pressure Lazy Q was putting in during that fight, a lot of damage being put in from the Widowmaker, a lot of... I mean, it's prompted a response. Clarky moving over to their own Widow there, and Daunt moving onto the leg 76 as well, jumping onto that Soldier. So we see a bit of a shuffling from the defense. Really worry about the snowball potential here, but...
Lazy threading the needle onto the high ground. The shield invested just to allow Combat Wombat to bring Daunt back into the fight. There was Yu going down. The attack might be forestalled unless... Oh, sorry, no, there is no resurrection available for the attacking team, so that... Well, they might have had to wait, but Lazy Q with the Infrasight, not willing to give it up so easy. The Widow's duking it out. Zhu getting into the mix. It's going to force Clarky to back off for the moment. As Wiggles not, they didn't bother to reset, they just stayed here, but they lose Icarus down on the point, the Dragon Blade on the high ground, the Nano Blade on the high ground. Zhu sweeps through Clarky, finds Fletcher too, follows up onto Arrow. Lazy Q picking off Combat Wombat. This is the opening that the Wiggles were looking for. They've got a Transcendence on the point to keep them in the fight. But right now the defenders are cleaned up, they'll be rushing to get out. Question is, can they prevent any more progress being made? It is Fletcher who comes out first, cops a Discord Orb for their efforts, but a barrier keeping them alive for the moment. A little bit of hesitation from Wiggles. I've seen more defenders come in. The Graviton Surge on the point doesn't quite capture anyone. The Tactical Visor on the side from Daunt, plugging away at Lazy Q. Zhu finishes off the Soldier 76 as the ultimate ends. Now Fletcher bouncing around with the Primal Rage, beating and battering people around. Zhu eliminated by Clarky. It's all very back and forward, but Wiggles, as they lose numbers, they lose any chance of completing the point here in this fight.
Yeah, I think at this point the attack is faltered out. Monkey going to be holding on here, but only just. Still a long time left to go.
Oh,
3.5 minutes. Was Daunt in a lot of trouble?
He's on the Bastion.
On the Bastion. Oh, Daunt's coming back on the Bastion. Okay, and they're looking to lock this one down. I mean, they've got nowhere They got nowhere else to fall back to, and they're just hiding back in the corner. Doesn't want to be seen, wants to keep it a surprise. Actually will be swapping now, as Lazy Q revealed that one with the arrow.
And you know what? They've been fighting for time. Oh no, Hyping Hugh gets bonated, taken down, though they trade out for the Winston of Fletcher. Combat Wombat and Clarky quick to fall the numbers. Now with the Wiggles as they move their way onto the point, a Dragon Nanoblade invested again. Zhu finding so much value with his ultimate. This time the cleanup is enough. Only one tick required from the Wiggles. They'll finish the point with just a little bit time less than their opponent's own time.
Yeah, I mean, instead of being a nice, clean, even 3 minutes, it ends up being, was what?
Drop down 53 seconds.
Yeah, 253. So 7-second advantage for Monkey, but in the grand scheme of things, that's practically nothing. And so we'll see, moving on to the overtime rounds here, which team comes out on top, because it really has been very back and forth here. Julie has been doing such incredible work on the Genji. Lazy Q putting up some pretty impressive stuff on the Widowmaker as well, but it hasn't been free for them, because Daunt and Clarky fighting back just as hard, pulling out all the stops. And so with 2 minutes apiece, we're going to be moving over Clarky onto the Pharah for a defense here. It is a bit of a different look. I do worry that Lazy Q will just jump back on the Widow and make your life an absolute nightmare, but let's see how it works, because Wiggles actually on the full dive here almost. Icarus on the Zarya, pretty much the only deviant from a classic and a dive. See how it works as they roll out from spawn.
Well, they're taking the right-hand side from the attacker's perspective approach, not going up Main Street, not wanting to give away too much to Clarky. And he sees where they're coming from and says goodbye to Mama. Store going back to spawn straight away. And Wiggles happy to burn a little time, making sure that they're all grouped together.
This is why D.Va was the popular pick with this sort of comp. You need something to catch those rockets. You just don't have it. And so Clarky getting so much free damage here as they make their way through the alleys. Now they're starting to move forwards, take some ground away. But Lazy Q not able to get an easy angle on Clarky with everything that's in the way there. Being forced to dodge rockets as well. Clarky with free roam of these guys.
And on the ground, Zhu and Hyping Hugh pushed forward, but they weren't quite able to get any picks, and in return, Zhu is the one that falls. Hyping Hugh gets away, gets healed up. But a minute already gone off the clock, and the attackers haven't even made it through the gate. As I say that, they go through. Yeah, they go through Hyping Hugh. That's a nice pick. Dawn is immediately full. Combat Wombat, we're looking for a res, but may not be in a position to get it off with all those attackers sitting there watching it. Clarky down. That's both the DPS gone. Combat Wombat goes so low, able to get away with their fight. Oh no, slept. Icarus finds the sleeping Mercy, but Fletcher with the counter gets to the nano boost, proving the decisive edge for the Winston. The Primal Rage now online. As Wiggles fall below, 30 seconds left of the time bank. They're still yet to touch the point, but that could change in an instant. We're seeing the fight finally making its way there around the big bell. Both the Winstons tickling each other, but it's Fletcher who has Combat Wombat in support on the Mercy. Icarus makes the one to the point. They're forced to back off. Sorry, that wasn't Combat Wombat, my mistake. There you go, the Valkyrie now online for Combat Wombat. The barrage over the top, and Clarky eliminates two. That might be it for Wiggles' hopes. They did capture a tick of progress though, Poronius, so they're not quite out of this yet. Though, as I say, that Clarky floating around on low health gets taken out. Icarus and Juice still on the point, as is Store back on the Moira, making the difference. And what looked like a full hold for Monkey is turned into a capture for Wiggles.
Yeah, they're going to get the capture, but they're only going to have 30 seconds to try and rush to this extra point. Not to say it's not out of the question, though. They do have Jue with the blade. They've got Bob as well, and a Primal. Only defensive tool is Daunt with the Deadeye. Not the most powerful ultimate, definitely, but something that they will have to deal with nonetheless. They try and make their way up the middle. There's Bob on the
hoping for a cheeky hack coming out from Clarky, denying any of that dash utility from Zhu. As we say that, hyping Hugh. Oh, there you go. Sorry, the Deadeye does take out the Bob, but on the ground, Lazy Q and Icarus coming out bigger. Oh no, catches them off the point. Oh, dearie me.
Yeah,
Wiggles
Icarus
wasn't able to
get
touch.
that grab online, drops it there on the bridge. No one can get through onto the point. And so that will be the end of the Wiggles attack run there. Which means it's now on to Monkey to try and close this one out. They need to capture that first point and make any progress on the second point. They got 2 minutes to do it in, which means it's a little scary, but we might be getting a draw out of this. If they're able to cap that first point, and it's pretty hard to snowball it with the amount of time they've got. If they capture that first point, I do worry we're going to see a draw out of this.
Well, they were able to capture point A in under 2 minutes on their first attack, and really the key to their success will be capturing point A, obviously in under that 2 minutes, but also doing with minimal ult usage, leaving them with enough to come in and snowball that second point, because as you so rightly pointed out, they're only really going to have one attempt at that second point, and if they don't get it done, we're going to another control map.
Yeah, it's really down to the wire here. I mean, it could still go either way. Wiggles definitely has the potential to hold this one out as well. We see Fletcher back onto the Reinhardt. Clarky with the Symmetra. They're going for a teleport strat to get onto that point. That means they're going to have a lot of very close range brawl power. They got the Mei as well. Very close range composition that's going to be warping through here now.
Not walling to support the telly. They're willing to go, but hyping Hugh and Lazy Q ready and waiting for that cheeky teleport. They lay on the damage. This attack is going to be stalled before it starts, and now we're going to see Monkey in dire straits.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that one before. People know how to punish the teleporter strat, and sure enough, it is with those AoE weapons. Dynamite ripping through the team there.
Oh, they lost Icarus. Icarus has to run back from spawn.
Well, that's an opportunity then. The attackers may be able to make this 5v6. Icarus trying to get back on the wrecking ball.
Air swap off Zarya. They're back in the fight, but they've allowed Monkey onto the point for the moment. Nice bio grenade onto the tanks, force them to play a little more cautiously. Some cheeky damage poked around the side. Lazy Q finds Clarky as the shield of Fletcher is turned around. Now the Reinhardt swinging and swinging with the hammer, cops another bio grenade for the effort. Not going to be getting any heals. Eventually taken out of the fight by the Bob of all things. The Primal Raging Monkey on the point is clearing so much space, allowing the DPS for Wiggles to go to work. 44 seconds left on the clock. Oh, Monkey is just slipping through their fingers.
Yeah, they really are. And look at the ults available for the defense as well. We're going to have the Nano Blade online. There's one fight left, and that may be all that's needed to shut it down. Not a lot of tools available. Maybe they get lucky with the flashbang, shut down the Genji, but this is really looking dicey here.
Speaking of flashbang, got caught out, eventually able to escape with their lives. Deadeye from Taunt is on 1 health. The Dynamite finishing that one off. An Earthshatter comes through from Fletcher. The follow-up not quite there. Now Nanoblading Zhu trying to solve this defense right here, right now. Sweeps through 2. Will be taken down for the effort. So an even trade on the point. Fletcher not out of this yet, and I've lost connection to the game server.
Yeah, oh god, we've just had multiple people lose connection from the game server.
Good.
It looks like it is a Blizzard issue, but 2 players on the 2 players on the defending team there have actually just.
That is brutal.
I've lost track of which team was which. No,
Monkey,
2 players from the attacking team.
Yeah,
Monkey is on the attack.
Yeah. Oh, that's so brutal because they were trading back and forward.
Yeah, it was really looking like maybe Monkey are able to push that one forwards, but one of their players has just DC'd while they were on point, which is going to be a huge blow to this overtime.
I mean, this is the fight for the game and that spot in the semi-finals. The winner of this fight, most likely, would be the one that goes forward and goes up in the. So it's probably the worst possible timing we could have asked for. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, that is super rough. I mean, this is such is the nature of online tournaments, but that is still a big yikes in such an important moment, in such an important match. It could be that this team doesn't go through to playoffs as a result of it. So you really do have to feel for it here.
Well, hopefully their players are able to reconnect to the game. So
Yeah, we might have to go for a bit of a break just while we're looking for a resolution to this. Obviously, multiple players have dropped from the game. We'll see if they're able to get back. So bear with us. We're just going on to a quick break while this gets sorted out.
Yeah, what's up with it? What's up with it?
Giuseppe.
Yeah, what's up with it?
tagging.
Yeah, what's up with it? Yeah, win it. Yeah, what's up with it? Yeah, win it. Yeah, what's up with it?
Well, welcome back, listeners, one and all. Sometimes, unfortunately, this is just how it be. But because we can't provide stable servers, we're going to be postponing the rest of the tournament until next weekend. So we'll keep an eye on Discord. Make sure you're following AOE on the socials if you're looking to follow along the action. We'll have more details as to when that will be in the future. But the rest of this game, as well as the finals, will have to be postponed because at the moment we just can't guarantee any sort of competitive integrity, I'm afraid. So until then, this will be farewell from the rest of us. I've been Peronius. Joining me has been Temporal. Big thank you to all of our viewers, all of our players, and of course our sponsor over at MyRepublic Gamer. So until next time, stay safe, look after yourselves, and we'll see you all real soon.